What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories.
4cc Chapter 74 Chatan despised Su Chen, saying that he might not be as strong as me in a head-on confrontation. Su Chen and the other two were brought into the palace by Diamante. Then go through the secret passage, entered into the underground world. Several people entered an old-fashioned elevator together. When the elevator descended for about 5 minutes. In Su Chen's mind, then the system voice sounded. Ding ding ding. The check-in location has been detected to be approaching. Mini-map permissions have been opened. Host, please check. The system is shut down. The upper right corner of Su Chen's vision. A small map marking the system's fourth check-in location suddenly appeared. It is not far from Su Chen's current location. It's only about 3 kilometers away. General Su Chen. What is going on with Brother Ming and Draugjack? Did you do that? Behind Su Chen. Chatan Kaji couldn't suppress his curiosity. If Su Chen was only slightly stronger than him who was a lieutenant general. But Chatan Kaji will still hate this guy who stole Momosagi's heart. But if Su Chen is stronger, he will far surpass him. Even looking up is not enough to reach Su Chen's height. Then Chatan Kaji would not feel any hatred towards Su Chen. So, it is unclear whether Su Chen controlled Ming Zhe and Jack the Drought. Chatan Kaji was extremely curious. Momosagi Gion heard it. He also looked towards Su Chen's position intentionally or unintentionally. Same as Chatan Kaji. Momosagi Gion was also very curious whether Su Chen did it. After all, she had been watching Su Chen become a disabled person on the hospital bed. We have come to where we are today step by step, she knew it clearly. Su Chen has only 2 abilities in total. In addition to the dual-color domineering aura, his swordsmanship is not inferior to his own. This is remote-controlled. It is obvious that it has nothing to do with Su Chen's sealing fruit. Logically speaking, this is definitely not Su Chen's ability. But what Brother Ming shouted in front of everyone before, Su Chen. Momosagi couldn't help but suspect that it was Su Chen who did it. But like everyone else, Momosagi had no evidence. If it was really done by Su Chen, then Su Chen's strength is too exaggerated. Without any movement in the air, controlled Ming Zhe, one of the 7 warlords of the sea, with a bounty of 300 million. Plus the Draugjack who is at the level of Vice Emperor and has a bounty of 1 billion berries. Without making a sound, he could even deal with the 3 admirals and the fleet admiral. It may not be possible. Su Chen heard what Chatan Jiaji said. I couldn't help but frown. How could someone be so stupid? Fleet admiral said it all. It is forbidden to attack Ming and Draugjack. Now Chatan Kaji actually asked if he was the instigator. Diamante is leading the way for Mingo's men. This is asking the question openly and openly, this is not chasing after the enemy. Do you want to feed the handle to the Don Quixote family? However, even if Diamante is not here, Su Chen would not reveal the fact that he could, soul-stealing, sage art. The reason is simple. Why do you want to expose your cards? You have to reveal your cards and your strength first. The purpose is to obtain the status of Marine Admiral so that you can go to marry Hoya for the 3rd sign-in. Now the general seat has been obtained. Is it necessary to reveal your cards? In the previous life, I was involved in a business war. Su Chen has seen many young bosses who like to show off as soon as they get some cards up their sleeve. Without exception, they were all eliminated by the cruel market in the end. Only Su Chen, who had always kept his cards close to his chest, became the final winner in their city's business war. So he shrugged. He just said it perfunctorily to Chatan Kaji. Doesn't the internal documentation mention what my fruit ability is? Do you think that controlling others from a distance has anything to do with my fruit ability or hockey, Vice Admiral Chatan? I'm sorry, General Su Chen, I think too much. Hearing Su Chen's denial, a hint of joy flashed in Chatan Kaji's eyes. It's not Su Chen. Then Su Chen's strength is only slightly stronger than mine. Such a guy is not worthy of little Momosagi's heart. Just wait, sooner or later, Momosagi will be brought back by me. On the way back later, I'm preparing the confession. Chatan Kaji thought to himself, with a hint of obscenity in his eyes. Momosagi on the side seemed to feel some discomfort at this moment. A sudden shudder went through my body, in front. Diamante, who was given to Su Chen and the other 2, never looked back. However, his stiff body posture revealed that he had actually been eavesdropping on the conversation between Su Chen and the other 2. When he heard Chatan Kaji asking if it was Su Chen who did it, Diamante held his breath. If it was Su Chen who did it, then it would explain why Brother Ming suddenly became like this. Unfortunately, Su Chen denied it. Bite, The elevator stopped and the door opened. The Smile Artificial Devil Fruit Factory suddenly appeared in front of Su Chen. "Look at this magnificent assembly line," Diamante swallowed subconsciously. He turned his head and spoke to Su Chen in a somewhat humbly manner. "General, can you please not destroy the factory? This is the hard work of our Don Quixote family over the years." Diamante really didn't want to see the factory destroyed. Su Chen ignored him completely. "Just go directly to the check-in location marked by the system." Seeing this, Momosagi and Chatan hurriedly followed. "System, clock me in." Reply host, "Check-in failed. You are still 3 meters away from the system check-in point." Su Chen came to the location marked on the minimap and heard the system say that the check-in failed. He subconsciously looked at the huge machine in front of him. There is no way out. Is the check-in point still a little further inside? Su Chen did not hesitate and his right hand turned black. It has already been condensed by the armed color domineering. Open black lens bracket Tian Xing Jian, close black lens bracket activate. Su Chen looked towards the machine in front of him. Just punched him directly. Moment. The terrifying shockwave came from Su Chen's fist. The powerful gale mixed with the broken parts of the machinery made it impossible to open one's eyes. When the wind died down, this was the shocking discovery for everyone. In front of Su Chen, a huge hole with a diameter of more than 10 meters appeared. The original machine no longer exists. Only a few fragments on the ground proved that there was once a device here. Diamante saw this. Subconsciously, I took 2 steps back. This destructive power is so terrifying, even more powerful than the attack unleashed by Droughtjack, whose bounty is 1 billion berries. As expected of Admiral Marine, fortunately, I didn't offend this guy just now. Momosagi's big eyes were filled with joy. He discovered that Su Chen's strength had risen to a new level compared to when they first went to Bonero Island together. At least now, if she doesn't use the sword, she can't achieve this level just by relying on the armed color domineering. The hole is no more than 5 or 6 meters in size. That's the limit of Momosagi. Chatan Jiaji, who was standing by, saw Su Chen punching him. It only created a hole of 10 meters in size. This doesn't seem to be a big deal. Although Su Chen obviously did not use his full strength. But Chatan thought that he was using all his strength. It won't be much worse than Su Chen. It should be no problem to create a hole of about 10 meters with one punch. With such strength, can he be a general? Chatan suddenly felt a little dissatisfied. He believed that Su Chen could get the recognition of Fleet Admiral and become a Marine Admiral. Obviously it mainly relies on the ability of the fruit. Su Chen's ability to face the enemy head-on may not be that strong. Maybe in a life-and-death battle between the two of them, the winner will be me. Think of this. Chatan snorted coldly. He felt even more contempt for Su Chen in his heart. Momosagi's taste is really flawed. How could she fall in love with someone like Su Chen? After I return, I must let Momosagi see it clearly. The truly outstanding man is Chatan Kaji. Of course, Su Chen didn't have time to guess what everyone present was thinking. He stepped directly into the big hole. I silently said to the system in my heart. Check in. Ding ding ding. The target location of the host coincides with the mission location. Check-in successful. Chapter 75 Hidden Reward. Qinglong's exclusive Sage Art, Enhanced Enel. System check-in successful. A lucky draw is in progress. Please wait. The familiar big turntable appears. The pointer slides quickly. Su Chen narrowed his eyes and stared closely at the lottery on the system's big roulette wheel. I almost shipped it last time. Endless life, damn it. We have to keep a close eye on it this time and make sure we don't let the system do anything secretly. This time the pointer stopped very quickly. This time, the pointer pointed squarely at a golden area. There are 3 question marks displayed on it. A hint of suspicion flashed across Su Chen's eyes. If he remembered correctly, this was supposed to be the second draw. The location of Zhang Shan's Heaven's Movement, Sage Art. After getting the Sage Art from the big turntable, Su Chen remembered that these positions would be replaced with golden ones. So what is the situation now? The lottery draw was repeated. Or is there any additional special reward? Su Chen was feeling confused. The system sound appears. Ding ding ding. Congratulations to the host for winning the duplicate Sage Art and getting the Easter egg reward. You will randomly receive a Sage Art echo from one of the 4 God tier beasts. Hear what the system says. Su Chen's eyes lit up. Nice one. The Sage Art echo abilities imprinted on the bodies of the 4 God tier beasts. But none of them are weak. Like, jump, immortality, explore the bag, no matter which one you draw. Regarding Su Chen's current head-on combat capability. There are huge improvements. Nowadays, Su Chen possesses 3 different sage art abilities. Although the effects are more perverted than each other. But for Su Chen, there was never a way for him to face the enemy head-on. Although break all laws and capture the soul are powerful, they are both auxiliary abilities. The only sage art that can actively fight against the enemy is Heaven Defying, and its greater function is the self-healing ability of Heaven Defying. It's just an incidental power enhancement. Now, although Su Chen feels that he is far stronger than the quasi-admiral in Marine. But Fujitora, Green Bull, which one of them is not as strong as the general? Su Chen felt. The one who can sit on the position of Marine Admiral mainly needs to be a Sengoku Fleet Admiral. I am only interested in his breaking all laws sage art field and its influence on the entire battlefield. He doesn't want to be a buff machine forever. Su Chen wants the ability to proactively fight the enemy. I was thinking about it. The system's Easter egg lottery has ended. What caught Su Chen's eyes? It is the leader of the 4 god-tier beasts. An existence that can be called the ruler of the land of the end together with Tianlong. Qinglong's sage art. Open black lens bracket thunder close black lens bracket see this result. A hint of ecstasy appeared in Su Chen's eyes. Don't be fooled by the fact that sage art only has 2 words. But in terms of ability to fight the enemy, it is definitely not inferior to any 3-word sage art echo. Even if it is heaven's movement compared with thunder. That is also much inferior, a very simple comparison. Su Chen who possesses the thunder sage art. This is equivalent to directly obtaining the thunder fruit of Enel, the boss of the Sky Island in One Piece. This directly made Su Chen, who was still worried about his ability to face the enemy head-on, feel anxious. It's just that the positive ability is maxed out. Congratulations to host for winning sage art, thunder. Accompanied by the sound of the system, in Su Chen's mind. Immediately, thunder, sage art echoed and used related abilities. But in the blink of an eye, Su Chen had mastered it. Slowly close your eyes and feel it. Open black lens bracket thunder close black lens bracket is more powerful and more effective than Sky Island Enel's thunder fruit. Even stronger, it can be said to be similar to the relationship between the flame fruit and the magma fruit. Superior replacement. I thought of this in my heart. Su Chen couldn't help but want to try out this new ability. It's different from the trump card like heart stealing. Open black lens bracket thunder close black lens bracket is what I have now besides open black lens bracket Tian Xing Jian close black lens bracket. The only antagonist is sage art. Therefore, it will definitely be exposed in the subsequent battles. It's a good time to try it out now, when Su Chen was signing in through the system. Chitankaji was getting a little impatient. Really? Didn't you say you were going to destroy this factory? This is a huge project. According to General Su Chen's punch just now, it will take at least half a day to destroy the factory. It's really annoying to keep dilly-dallying there. Chitankaji glanced at Momoshagi beside him. I deliberately raised the tone a little. I really don't understand why Fleet Admiral would let Su Chen become Marine Admiral. If the original 3 great generals were to come here, they probably wouldn't be able to use many moves at all. It can easily destroy this smile factory. But now, General Su Chen has no large-scale killing capabilities at all. His fruit is also more inclined towards auxiliary ability. Such a guy is obviously more suitable for a supporting position. If we don't help General Su Chen later, he will want to destroy this factory. It will probably take a whole day to smash it up. It's a pity that we can't use fire. These machines are obviously not afraid of fire. Momoshagi heard Chaten muttering beside him. I feel so annoyed. But now I am performing official duties in front of outsiders. She couldn't get angry with Chaten directly. He could only suppress his displeasure and spoke to Chaten calmly. Lieutenant General Chaten, please stop talking. Our mission this time is to fully cooperate with General Su Chen. Don't forget your duties as a Marine. Chitankaji heard Momosagi's cold voice. I don't feel like this is an attack on myself at all. Little stars appeared in his eyes. The goddess replied to me. She must like me. It turned out that I was right. Chaten thinks. After he pointed out the fact that Su Chen's ability to fight the enemy was poor, Momoshagi immediately realized that Su Chen was actually just that good. So my feelings towards myself changed suddenly, if it weren't for this. Momoshagi was so rude to me on the warship before, but now she is willing to talk to me after I told her that Su Chen is not strong enough. How to explain this matter? That must be it. Chaten smiled in his heart. He felt that after returning, his confession plan would definitely be successful. That's when it happened. Su Chen's lottery is over. I heard what Chaten said. Su Chen didn't care. He turned and spoke to Diamante, who was leading the way. Diamante, notify all personnel in the factory to evacuate. I'll give you 15 minutes at most. When the time comes, I will take action directly. Diamante looked hesitant, but after seeing how powerful Su Chen was, and with Ming Ji's special request, Diamante really didn't dare to offend Mr. Su Chen. I had no choice but to quickly contact the people at Smile Factory through Den Mushi. Let them retreat quickly. Su Chen asked the people in the factory to retreat. As soon as these words came out, this immediately made Chatten behind him snort in his heart. The power of Su Chen's punch only destroyed an area within a few dozen meters. Wouldn't it be okay to just dismantle it while letting the factory workers evacuate? Is it necessary to wait until everyone leaves before taking action? What a guy who likes to show off. Momosagi was also puzzled. Obviously, it would be more advantageous to schedule now to destroy the equipment while evacuating the personnel. Chapter 76 System Upgrade? Self-selected rewards? Guaranteed open black lens bracket endless life close black lens bracket. I almost forgot. System. Where's my next check-in location? The next time I clock in should be the 5th time, right? How many times are left before the system upgrade? Watching Diamante's receding figure, Su Chen asked the system in his heart. Ding ding ding, host, the next check-in location will be impelled down. The 6th prison on the seafloor. After you complete your 5th sign-in mission, the system will undergo its first upgrade. After the upgrade is completed, you can choose a reward after completing the 6th sign-in. Hear the system's response. Su Chen was a little surprised. The check-in task released by the system this time was to advance the city under the sea. The rare thing is that I don't make things difficult for myself. After all, Impel Down is not far from the Marine headquarters. If you use the internal routes of Marine, it only takes about half a day to reach Impel Down from the Marine headquarters. Relying on his status as Marine Admiral, tell this to Impel Down Warden Magellan. You should be able to proceed to the system sign-in for the 6th time without any obstruction. Moreover, before this mission, Sengoku Fleet Admiral had given specific instructions. The general will go to push forward the city to defend it. As the 4th Admiral of Marine, Su Chen's motivation to go to Impel Down City is very reasonable. It won't arouse anyone's suspicion at all. After the system finishes punching in, it talks about the effect of the system upgrade. It made Su Chen's eyes light up. After upgrading, you only need to sign in once. You can choose a reward of your choice. Is this reward really optional? Then can I choose Qi Sha's endless life? During the sign-in at Mary Joyce, Su Chen watched Qi Sha's eternal life slip away from him. Su Chen has always been itching to do it. I just don't know, given the nature of the system. Will it be the same as the lottery rules of Tencent and Pig Farm in the previous life? Let's put a restriction. Instead of giving you eternal life, I will give you a bunch of treasures from ancient times. Su Chen recalled when he was in school. I once participated in a lottery in the Bear League and won 3 old skins of the Corky in a row. Su Chen was stunned by the smoke. It was as if the sharp sound of an airplane was circling in Su Chen's mind. Shouting somewhere. The passion is burning. The system sensed Su Chen's thoughts. The answer came immediately. Please rest assured, host, all the draws in this system are fair and honest. There are no restrictions on the rewards you choose after the system upgrade. It is natural that I would choose Qi Sha's endless life, the protagonist of 10 Days End, to conform to the rules. After learning that I can choose eternal life by myself, Su Chen suddenly became excited. That doesn't mean that no matter how unlucky you are, it doesn't matter how unlucky you are. After signing in 3 times at most, you can get Qi Sha's endless life. It's up to you to revive Roger however you want, rocks. Now that he also possessed heart-stealing soul, he didn't even have to worry about rocks betraying him after his resurrection. Heart-stealing is real damage, even to the most powerful Galinsheng. The same is true that you have to control yourself. If that doesn't happen, I can just use sanity deprivation to cancel the account of rocks who wants to betray me. But I don't know why. Su Chen, who is familiar with the nature of the system. I always feel that there is something wrong with the system's promise of optional rewards, but Su Chen hasn't found any problems yet. Diamante works very quickly. 10 minutes later, everyone in the factory had evacuated. Not only that, but also most of the people in the entire underground world. Everyone heard that General Marine was going to destroy the Smile Factory. He chose to leave the underground temporarily and came to the ground of Dressrosa. In this underground world hundreds or thousands of meters deep. Now, all that was left were mountains and plains of steel equipment, stretching as far as the eye could see. The scope of this factory is probably more than 4 or 5 kilometers. Seeing this, Chatten did some calculation in his mind. I was a little too confident in my calculations just now. If several people want to completely destroy it, it will take at least more than a day. He immediately had a mocking tone, said to Su Chen. General Su Chen, would you like Momoshiki and I to help you? This is a big project after all. Momoshiki touched the kumvara around her waist. He nodded as well. I think this is no small task. If Su Chen were to handle it alone, he would definitely not be able to handle it. But Su Chen shook his head. He directly refused their help. After all, Su Chen wanted to use the Smile Factory to test the power of the Thunder Sage Art Echo he had just obtained. Hear Su Chen's words. Chatten curled his lips inwardly. Shameless. There are so many things, just smash them one by one with your punches. That would take more than half a day. Do you really like showing off in front of Momoshiki? It seems that Su Chen is a guy who has some strength. But at heart he's still just a little kid in his 20s. Just when Chatten was secretly criticizing Su Chen in his heart. Su Chen has already taken action. Su Chen slowly raised his right hand. Boom! Above the whole kingdom below, suddenly there was a dull rumbling thunder. The sky suddenly darkened. This underground world, which never sees sunlight and relies on lights for illumination. It became pitch black, as if you couldn't see your hand in front of you. Hear this voice. Chatten's expression changed. He didn't understand why there was a sudden rumble of thunder in the sky. This is the underground world dug out from beneath Dressrosa. Even the air is brought in from ground ventilation ducts. How come there is thunder? Chatten looked up subconsciously. This time, his pupils suddenly shrank. The greasy faces were all in shock. Started shaking. There is no other reason. The top of the entire underground world. Now it is shrouded by extremely dark clouds loom. It was so stressful that everyone couldn't breathe. It was mixed with terrifying thunder, emitting a strong will of destruction. Chatten analyzed it carefully. In the sea, one can use power that contains the will of destruction. They are all recognized as top-notch experts, such as Whitebeard, Sengoku Fleet Admiral, Hero Garp and so on. However, Sengoku Fleet Admiral and Garp are both in the Marine headquarters, and Whitebeard is also in the waters near Bonero Island. It is absolutely impossible for him to appear in a place like Dressrosa. Could it be Su Chen? As soon as this thought came into Chatten's mind, he rejected it instantly. Su Chen is just a little brat who relies on the ceiling fruit. His ability to face the enemy head-on may not be as good as his own. This kind of movement couldn't have been made by him. What the hell? What is going on? Since the founding of Dressrosa, the underground world has never seen a situation like this. Diamante saw dark clouds rolling in the sky. My jaw dropped. He had definitely never seen such a scene before. Just as everyone looked up at the sky, when you show a confused expression. Momoshiki Gion is an exception. She looked in Su Chen's direction. As expected. The moment when Momoshiki Gion looked at Su Chen. Su Chen gave Momoshiki a faint smile. He still had that calm expression, as if everything was under control. The next moment, he raised his hand high, a sudden grasping gesture. Open black lens bracket thunder close black lens bracket fall. Boom 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 boom. Thunder exploded. Everyone's ears are ringing at the same time. No more sound can be heard. Countless thunders fell. Everything in the world. This moment turned into black and white. Chapter 77 Su Chen. Don't ask how the thunder came from. The fruit has awakened again. Boom 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 boom. The terrifying thunder bombardment continues. It's so terrifying. These strands of lightning are like giant snakes. It is as thick as an adult man's body, bombarding on the ground. It directly blew up a pit about 50 to 60 meters deep. Every thunder falls. All of them created a force even more powerful than the one that Su Chen had previously used his armament haki to punch out. The power of a bolt of lightning is enough to rival Su Chen's punch. In the blink of an eye, Su Chen used thunder to summon rolling thunder. More than hundreds, as long as the area is covered by rolling dark clouds. They are all covered by thunder. The thunder serpent did not attack everyone head-on. Just a touch from a distance. Diamante, who was at the front, was severely injured in an instant. Lost consciousness. The whites of his eyes rolled up, and a large amount of blood spurted out of his mouth. Behind Diamante, the inky black energy enveloped the T-Pig. He was actually using armament haki to defend himself. With the strength of a quasi-general, he reacted very quickly. Just a moment, he has armed himself to the teeth. Chatten is very confident in his armed color domineering. Although this thunder looks terrifying, it produces shock waves through the air. He can still hold on. but at the moment of contact with the shockwave. T-Pig is stupid. This looks like an ordinary shockwave. It directly broke through the dark-wrapped armament hockey defense on his body. All the internal organs are affected by the shockwave. It was directly moved to a place where the organs shouldn't be. He spat out a large mouthful of blood, and fell backwards powerlessly. Same with Diamante. It was just a moment of contact with the shock wave. Vice Admiral Chatten immediately lost consciousness. He was severely injured and no longer able to fight. Momoshiki Gion is behind Su Chen, so she has the most time. Brother Su Chen, did you do this? Quote. She exclaimed. While pulling out Kimpira from his waist, he wanted to resist the shock wave. But Su Chen immediately spoke up to stop him. Don't resist, hide behind me. Momoshiki and Chaton are both at the rank of Lieutenant General. Even if Momoshiki is stronger than Chaton, can he be 30% stronger? Or 50%? Even if it is 100% stronger? Su Chen felt that he was facing such a terrifying impact. There is absolutely no ability to resist. Unless it is a top powerhouse like Garp, Sengoku, and Red Hair. Only then can we fight against this will of destruction. So he made the decision instantly. Let Momoshiki hide behind him. Momoshiki naturally trusted Su Chen without reservation and immediately gave up the idea of confrontation. After a few jumps, he arrived behind Su Chen. This is the strike surface of thunder. Beyond everyone's imagination. This, of course, also includes the releaser, Su Chen himself. When Su Chen reacted, it's too late. Smile everything in the factory. All within a few seconds. Disappeared completely. Those hard alloy devices turned into ashes one by one. Only countless huge holes were left behind. Under the bombardment of thunder. The pit was originally only a few dozen meters deep. In the blink of an eye, it turned into a bottomless hole. But even so, the terrifying power of thunder still hasn't stopped raging. Dark clouds in the sky. The power of thunder released. It seems like there is no end. Hundreds or even thousands of giant thunder snakes. Still continuing to bombard the earth fiercely. Bombing everything in sight. Su Chen tried to recall the echo of thunder in his mind. But it didn't work. These thunders are like bullets shot from a gun. Once the bullet leaves the gun, the shooter can no longer control it. It only takes 2 seconds. There is no trace of Mingi's Smile Factory anymore. The destructive will contained in the rolling dark clouds in the sky seem to have not been consumed by even 1/10. If this continues, we will eventually dig to the bedrock. Fortunately, Su Chen still has a backup plan. Zhou's strength. The decision is yours. An invisible energy instantly burst out from Su Chen's body. Cover the entire area where thunder is released. It is break all laws. All domineering and devil fruits are invalid. Of course, this also includes sage art from 10 Days End. Within the scope of break all laws, all beings are equal. Except Su Chen. At the moment when break all laws takes effect, the dark clouds in the sky were filled with the will to destroy. It was like pressing the pause button on the video. Stuck there. As if it does not belong to this world. Then the thunder and dark clouds dissipated. It's as if everything never happened. The only smell left in the air was the smell of dust. There are also countless bottomless pits on the ground. Proof of the previously terrifying thunder snake. It's not an illusion. Momoshiki garden behind Su Chen. See Su Chen display his abilities. The situation was taken control immediately. She also breathed a sigh of relief, but her heart was still beating wildly in her chest. Like an engine with the accelerator pedal pushed to the floor. Adrenaline rush. Momoshiki's legs went limp, and she did this right in front of Su Chen. Very unpresentable. The duck sat down. She was completely unaware of the shock on her little face. There is a feeling of surviving a disaster. When I was in Banaro Island. Momoshiki was never so frightened when facing Whitebeard. She could clearly feel it. If you were hit by thunder head on. I'm afraid she'll die on the spot. Even if Momoshiki were allowed to practice for another 3 to 5 years, it seemed that there was no chance of survival. Momoshiki's chest kept rising and falling. She quickly asked Su Chen. Brother, what is going on? The sudden thunder in the sky. Did you summon him? Su Chen nodded. There was no concealment. After all, he will definitely use the sage art thunder frequently in the future. I did it, but I didn't expect it to cause such a big commotion. Su Chen scratched his head. After coming to this world. This was the first time that Su Chen felt that things were beyond his control. I didn't expect that thunder was clearly a 2-word level response. It is actually able to cause such a terrifying power. It seems that I am still trapped by my inherent thinking. I always feel that the more words in Sage Art's 10 Days End, the better it is. But now it seems that sage art was chosen by Qinglong. How could the power be weak? Momosuge was so shocked that her bright red lips opened wide. It was you who actually summoned me. But don't you have the sealed fruit? How come you were related to thunder? After thinking for a moment, Su Chen answered in a deep voice. Don't ask. The question is, the fruit has awakened again. Chapter 78 Diamante, Comrade Marine. I'm not in the car yet. Fruit awakening. Momosuge Gion's big eyes were filled with surprise. Has Su Chen's devil fruit ability awakened again? Less than a month ago, Momosuge and Su Chen were on Banero Island. This is how Su Chen explained the use of Tian Xing Jian to Momosuge. Now Su Chen used thunder again and attributed its ability to the ability of the devil fruit. Even Momosuge is not that smart. I also felt like something was wrong. But the problem is that although domineering power can produce effects similar to thunder, but it cannot summon dark clouds and lightning. The moves that Su Chen just performed. It's obviously not a skill within the realm of domineering. It should be a move from the devil fruit. But a person can only eat one devil fruit, which is recognized throughout the ocean. Just eat the second fruit. The body will explode directly. Now that the war at the top has not yet begun, it is naturally impossible for Momosuge to know that there are indeed people in the world who can possess the abilities of multiple devil fruits at the same time. So, naturally, she could only believe what Su Chen said. After all, there is really no other explanation. Just treat it as. Is it similar to Luffy's second, third, fourth and fifth gear changes? Momosuge looked to the side not far away. Diamante and Chitonkaji had already fainted. The observation haki swept towards the two of them. I found that both of them were still breathing. Diamante was a pirate beside Mingo, and if he died, he died. But Chitonkaji is a vice admiral in the marine. He is even at the level of quasi-general. As long as the fleet admiral approves, you can enter Marihoa at any time to meet the celestial dragons. Momosuge hates this kind of guy from the bottom of her heart. But he cannot be allowed to die easily. As long as you have a breath of fresh air, there is no need to worry too much. After all, in the world of pirates, being alive means being alive. Those who are really going to die will die immediately. It seemed that apart from Su Chen who had just traveled through time, there were no half-dead guys. After Momosuge confirmed whether Chitonkaji was dead or alive, he just fell to the ground in a very ungraceful manner. He stretched out his limbs, revealing a relieved expression. After all, this is the task assigned to them by the Warring States Fleet Admiral. At this point, it is finally completed. Even before the Sengoku Fleet Admiral was not optimistic and did not use force against Mingo and Kaido's forces. Destroy the Smile Artificial Devil Fruit Factory. Su Chen had accomplished such hellish tasks. Su Chen is truly omnipotent. Momosuge thought to herself. The next step is just to report the situation to the Marine headquarters. Now you can return to the Marine headquarters. You can take a nice and comfortable hot bath. Although it was clear that Momosuge only followed Su Chen after arriving in Dressrosa. Nothing was done. But I don't know why. Momosuge just felt very tired and just wanted to submit the task report quickly. Give yourself a long vacation. Click. A faint sound appeared on the ceiling rock wall of the underground world. Because it is too far from the ground. The people on the ground did not hear it. But there are a lot of stone fragments. It fell from the sky. It fell right on Momosuge's fair face. There was even a little bit of crumbs that fell into Momosuge's little nose. Makes her cough. Suddenly, Momosuge showed an unhappy look. Its cheeks are puffed up, like a little hamster. Where did this stone come from? It's so annoying. Momosuge stood up from the ground unhappily and subconsciously looked up at the sky. It doesn't matter if you don't watch it. Take a look. Momosuge's body was completely relaxed because she had left the danger zone. The moment was tense. Her pupils shrank to the size of a pinhole in an instant. Momosuge's expression was filled with fear. Su Chen was looking at Momosuge's hamster-like face and thought it was very cute. I saw Momosuge suddenly changed. He looked as if he was facing a formidable enemy. Su Chen narrowed his eyes slightly and slowly raised his head. Looked towards the sky. It was seen on the ceiling of the cave several hundred meters above. At this moment, it is already filled with dense cracks. Like a broken mirror. Traces of cracks appeared at every spot on the ceiling rock wall. A small stone fell on Momosuge's face. It fell down due to cracks on the ceiling. Above the sky, the number of falling pebbles continues to increase. From the beginning, it was just a little bit, which didn't attract people's attention at all. Until now, stones were falling from the sky like rain. The whole process took less than 30 seconds. Su Chen's heart sank. He reacted instantly. What is the situation now? Why does Momosuge look like this? This underground world is about to collapse. because of the thunder that Su Chen had just released. As a result, the ceiling was not hit directly by the thunder. But the destructive will contained in the thunder indirectly destroyed the defense of the ceiling of the underground world. Even the ground of the underground world was blasted by thunder, leaving bottomless pits. It is understandable that the ceiling is crumbling now. They just took the elevator. But it took a full 5 minutes. The descent speed was very fast, at least several meters per second. At the very least. Now where they are now. At least 1,000 meters underground. In this case, if the ground collapses, except for the top strong ones, almost everyone in the underground world is doomed. There is no chance of escape. Su Chen, what should we do? We don't have much time left. Momoshiki subconsciously asked Su Chen what to do now. At this time, Momoshiki didn't even notice it herself. Now she wants to follow Su Chen's instructions unconditionally. The first thing she wanted to know when she encountered a problem was what Su Chen wanted her to do. Or what Su Chen plans to do. Momoshiki feels that as long as Su Chen is here, nothing is impossible. Nowadays, the situation has become very bad. The rocks falling from the ceiling are growing larger. It was originally just a finger-sized stone. Then it turned into fist-sized stones. By now, large rocks the size of some adult men had fallen from the ceiling. There isn't much time left for Su Chen and his companions. Seeing this, Su Chen quickly calculated in his mind. He made a decision quickly. Take the wounded and prepare to leave. Su Chen's words were brief. But it is full of decisiveness and irresistibility. The next moment, Su Chen clenched his hands at his waist. Open black lens bracket thunder close black lens bracket sage art gathers together again. Lightning flashed in Su Chen's hand. This time, compare it to the previous scene of devastation. Su Chen only used 1% of his strength. After muttering a few words to himself, Su Chen suddenly pushed out his hands. In an instant, a huge bolt of lightning with a diameter of 3 or 4 meters appeared. It burst out from Su Chen's hands. Shoot towards the sky. Wherever it went, the thunder swallowed everything. The dirt and gravel all disappeared. Opened an escape route for Su Chen and others. Almost in the blink of an eye. This beam of light has already broken through the rock layer of more than 1,000 meters and reached the ground. Straight to the sky. Everyone in Dressrosa saw this amazing scene. Su Chen saw that the time was ripe. He ordered Momoshiki decisively. Now, go. After saying that, he was the first to rush out from the passage opened by the light beam. There is not much time left for everyone. This passage with a diameter of 2 to 3 meters is constantly collapsing and shrinking. Momoshiki looked at Su Chen's receding figure. But he was stunned for a moment, and subconsciously recited what Su Chen had just said to himself. Came. Qigong wave. Is this the name of Su Chen's move? That sounds scary. Then Momoshiki also reacted. Now is not the time to talk about this. He immediately took Chatan Jaji with him and kicked the ground. Using the rubble in the air, quickly moved toward the ground. On the ground, Diamante was shocked, and opened his eyes. As soon as he opened his eyes, he saw the scene around him that looked like the end of the world. In an instant, he understood what happened. The underworld is over. It's all over. All the hard work of the Don Quixote family over the years has turned into nothing. When he looked up, he saw the fleeing figures of Su Chen, Momoshiki and others. What the hell? Someone is flying in the sky. I saw Su Chen and his companions trying to escape. Diamante didn't want to die. He quickly shouted to Su Chen and others. General Su Chen. Grandpa Marine. Comrade Marine. I didn't get on the bus. I haven't gotten in the car yet. Chapter 79. Law enforcement video is being reviewed. Mingji's heaven-defying behavior. Sengoku Kizaru's scalp tingles. Marine headquarters. Suburbs. This is the scientific department under Kizaru, one of the 3 admirals of the Marines. Now, Zhongguo was looking at various things in the laboratory with great interest. Kizaru was in the corner. He leaned against the wall listlessly. Watching Zhongguo take interest in all the novel gadgets in the various laboratories. Various fiddling. Kizaru couldn't help but complain. That's really annoying. Fleet Admiral, I have to go to Impel down to guard tomorrow. Logically, this should be my personal rest time. If you want to see anything, you can come by yourself. Or I can let Zon Taowen take you and you can see whatever you want. Why do you have to ask me to accompany you? This is considered overtime. If I don't get triple overtime pay, I'll have to write a resignation letter. Zhongguo laughed. Put down the new gadget in your hand. You will definitely get triple overtime pay. I came here mainly to take a look. How is the production of the Den Den Mushi with live broadcast function going? That's a 3-in-1 Den Den Mushi that can record videos, live stream videos, and make phone calls at the same time. I remember that the scientific core had almost completed the project before. Is it finished? Kizaru nodded. He answered casually. It was completed before, but the final approval has not yet been passed. Su Chen came here before and asked about this matter. I remember that this thing was well kept secret. I'm curious how this guy knew that our scientific unit had this thing. Before I went on the mission, I asked Zhang Taowen for 2 or 3. It might be useful in carrying out the mission, if he is filming and broadcasting it live. The equipment we have here can be backed up. Fleet Admiral, do you want to take a look? Sengoku Fleet Admiral heard that Su Chen had actually taken away a few of these 3-in-1 Den Den Mushi. Used to perform tasks. He immediately became interested. Nodded. What did this kid record? It really piqued my curiosity. Play it for me now. Kizaru nodded and clapped his hands. The door of the laboratory was pushed open. Zon Taomaru's head popped out. Master, what's the matter? Fleet Admiral is here too. How rude of you. Kizaru signaled to Sen Taomaru to show the content recorded by Den Den Mushi to Sengoku Fleet Admiral. The 2 people in front of him are his boss and his boss's boss. Zon Taowen didn't say much. Just follow orders and do things. The contents stored in the Den Den Mushi were displayed on the big screen. Fu 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 fu. Ming Ji's signature arrogant laughter came. On the screen. Suddenly, Mingo's Don Quixote family and Jack the Drought appeared. Kizaru pouted. As expected, Su Chen used Den Den Mushi to record a video. Suddenly, the eyes of the Sengoku Fleet Admiral narrowed. It's the scene of Mingo's deal with Kaido's pirate group in Dressrosa. Kaido actually sent out Jack the Drought, one of the 3 great disasters. This is a difficult situation. I heard that Drought Jack is a guy with a bad brain. He simply doesn't listen to any reason and acts rudely and unreasonably. It is almost impossible to stop the transaction between the 2 parties without using force. Zhongguo believes that this time Su Chen's mission is. The possibility of failure is high. He originally thought that Kaido would send out the other 2 of the 3 disasters. Fire disaster, Jinin, plague disaster, Quinn. But Kaido sent out the stubborn shipping king Jack the Drought. Su Chen definitely couldn't reason with Kaido's pirate group. But facing Brother Ming and his men, can Su Chen really stop the transaction just by talking? Sengoku Fleet Admiral remains pessimistic. Sure enough, this brat Su Chen has become a little inflated after becoming a general. This is an obviously impossible task, but he was so confident when he accepted it. Tisk, tisk, tisk. You're going to suffer this time. Kizaru commented. But what few people didn't expect was. The situation suddenly took a 180-degree turn. After standing there in a daze for a while, Mingay actually attacked Drought Jack directly. What is Mingay doing? Is there something wrong with his brain? Zhongguo totally didn't understand why Mingay did this. When someone comes to you to do business, you give them a couple of slaps without saying a word. What's the meaning? Zon Taomaru and Kizaru also had suspicious expressions on their faces. I totally don't understand Mingay's motive for doing this. In the picture, Drought Jack was ambushed by Mingo. He became furious and immediately took out a knife to attack Brother Ming. But Mingay had no intention of dodging at all. Why not avoid? Zhongguo was extremely confused. Is it because you are not afraid? Forget about not using the fruit ability. What does it mean that you don't need to be domineering? Although Ming Jie is born a celestial dragon, his physique is not different from that of ordinary people. I was completely unprepared for this attack. I'm afraid I'll lose half my life. Kizaru became more and more confused the more he looked. I don't understand what's going on. Could it be that Brother Ming still has some hidden card? But then Ming Jie had his right hand cut off by Jack the Drought. This directly shocked everyone present. FK, that's really a chop. Zon Taowen couldn't help but swallow his saliva. At first he thought that it was the ability of the string fruit that was activated. It looks like the arm was cut off, but it can actually be restored immediately. But Mingay fell directly to the ground, twisting in pain. It was obvious that he had not used his abilities and his right arm was actually cut off. Borsellino, what do you think? Zhongguo felt as if he could not understand at all why Ming Jie in the video would do such an outrageous thing. Next, this is the plot where Su Chen asks Brother Ming. Ask him if he is willing to give up the deal with Kaido. Seeing Su Chen asked directly whether Brother Ming was willing to give up the deal. Black lines appeared on the heads of Kizaru and Sengoku. Su Chen looked confident when he accepted the task. The 2 of them thought that Su Chen had some hidden tricks. But in the end, he actually asked it directly like this. So funny. Do you really think Brother Ming will agree? Kizaru, do you think Ming Jie will agree to Su Chen's request? After a moment of silence, Sengoku asked Kizaru. Kizaru did not answer Sengoku, but looked at him as if he was a fool. The meaning is very clear. What do you think? Is it possible that he will agree? You are a wise general of marine, how could you ask such a question? But the slap in the face came too quickly. Just when Sengoku was communicating with Kizaru. In the recorded footage, Brother Ming has already spoken. He agreed to Su Chen's request without any conditions. Have you agreed to Su Chen just like that? Why? Isn't Brother Ming possessed by a ghost? Zhang Taowen was shocked for 10,000 years and spoke subconsciously. Chapter 80, Su Chen's heart stealing is exposed. Red hair appears on Judicial Island. A plan to lure the tiger away from the mountain. It's really strange. Did Brother Ming be fed some ecstasy soup by Su Chen? Why did Brother Ming agree to such unreasonable conditions? Kizaru's sunglasses slipped from the bridge of his nose. He showed a look of complete incomprehension and surprise. And on the side is the Warring States Fleet Admiral. The response was even greater. Warring States simply took several steps back. There was a hint of astonishment in his eyes. Something's wrong. 9 out of 10 something is wrong. Brother Ming's character has always been arrogant and domineering. How could it be because of meeting Su Chen, a young brat with no charisma? He showed such a flattering expression. There is definitely a big problem. A ghost. Hear what Zhang Taowen said. Warring States Fleet Admiral was suddenly stunned. Then he seemed to understand something. It's like an enlightenment. He suddenly remembered what happened in Mary Jones' residence before. At that time, in front of the 5 elders, it was Zhang Sheng who wanted to kill Su Chen. The same is true of Brother Ming today. He did various behaviors that were completely incomprehensible and unbelievable to the people around him. Is it possible? Is this the ability of Su Chen? A hidden trump card. The ability to control others remotely without any forward motion. Just like Brother Ming's thread fruit. During the Warring States period, he was wily and scheming, and he was often called a wise general. The possibility of this immediately appeared in his mind. But after this idea appeared, Warring States frowned. My heart is pounding. This assumption is really too bold. Although Brother Ming's strength far exceeds the reward of 300 million belly. But who is Saint Garen? The strongest group of people in the world. Whether it is domineering or attainments in swordsmanship. Almost all are unbeatable. Even if the Warring States period really fought against him. He also has no confidence that he can defeat the opponent with the help of Buddha fruit. Such a powerful guy. Even fight with Akainu. It was all a bit difficult for Su Chen. Can it really be controlled? A big question mark appeared on Sengoku's head. But if it is not explained this way, there is simply no second situation that can explain the situation of Zhang Sheng and Brother Ming now. Su Chen was all present. The other party is unable to act. This is rigorous logical reasoning. Zheng Guo couldn't help but take a breath of air. Hiss. Did Su Chen really do it? His ability to seal the fruits of others is domineering and powerful beyond his heaven-defying self-healing ability. Do you still have the ability to control the world's top experts? Just thinking about it. Warring States period felt like it was shaking all over. The anus is tight. Good guy. This guy Su Chen. I have been pretending to be a pig and eating the tiger. No wonder Su Chen always looked extremely calm. But there was that confident smile hanging on the corner of his mouth. A smile that seems to control everything. The Warring States period originally thought that Su Chen was a brat in his 20s, young and energetic. But now it seems. My situation is too small. Warring States thought Su Chen was on the 1st floor. Unexpectedly, Su Chen was always on the 5th floor. Fleet Admiral, Fleet Admiral. Want to continue playing? Zhang Taowen asked doubtfully from the side. Zhang Guo quickly recovered from his shock. He nodded. Keep playing. The next screen. Then Mingay and Drought Jack appeared and attacked each other. You take a step, and I take a step. It's like a turn-based game. Both sides were completely defenseless, as if they wanted the other side to kill them. Why didn't Drought Jack just kill Ming Jie? He had clearly already fallen out with Ming Jie. Even one of his arms was chopped off by Mingay. Why don't you take this opportunity to represent Kaido and occupy Dressrosa? Zhang Guo was confused. But seeing the Drought, Jack also agreed with Su Chen's proposal to reject the transaction between the two parties. Zhang Guo then figured it out. The look of astonishment in his eyes became even more intense. Su Chen can control more than one person at the same time. Drought Jack was also controlled by Su Chen. Tisk tisk tisk. Zhang Guo just thought that it was amazing that Su Chen could control Ming Jie and Zhang Sheng without any prior motion. But now, Zhang Guo found that he still underestimated Su Chen. Control two people at the same time. Judging from Su Chen's expression, it seemed that he didn't put in much effort at all. Looking very relaxed. In this case, doesn't this mean that it is a real life and death fight? Su Chen can instantly defeat two of Aokiji and Akainu, and then fight the remaining one in a one-on-one duel. That's not right. Sengoku Fleet Admiral suddenly reacted. He found himself in a big misunderstanding. It means that Su Chen has already assumed the ability to control the other party. If Su Chen really has such ability, why was it before in Banero Island? What if Su Chen doesn't use this skill to control Whitebeard? Even if the effect is not good, you don't have to stop using it. And he was able to control Garen Saint, and he was able to let Marco and Blackbeard escape. This is totally illogical. Could it be that this is a skill that Su Chen learned after returning from Banero Island? That's even more impossible. Has it been more than a month since Su Chen returned from Banero Island? In other words, he went from being on the sickbed and about to die to being a Marine Admiral today. How long has it been? From the sealing ability at the beginning to the self-healing ability later. Now there is another control ability. Even if Su Chen really gained the skill through Fruit Awakening, the time is too short. Awakened twice in less than a month. Even the most heaven-defying genius in the world wouldn't be this perverted. Zhongguo felt that there must be something he hadn't figured out. But at this time, beep, 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 beep. The emergency contact phone bug in Zhongguo's pocket suddenly rang. Kizaru, who was standing by, narrowed his eyes. He knew it clearly. There are two Den Den Mushi on Sengoku's body. One is the Den Den Mushi that they usually use to communicate with their three admirals and direct subordinates. There is also a Den Den Mushi. It is within the Marine Headquarters, Impel Down, and Judicial Island. Emergency numbers are available throughout the facility. This number will never be dialed under normal circumstances. The emergency telephone bug rang. The only possibility is that the situation is extremely dangerous. Urgent situation. Zhongguo instantly switched to working mode. Just now he was just an old man playing chess on the roadside without any heirs. But now, he was already filled with the aura of a superior. Like the Emperor of Marine. Dominate the world. He answered the phone with an extremely calm voice. What happened? Report immediately. Fleet Admiral. Oh no. Red Hair appears on Judicial Island and starts wreaking havoc. We can't stop it. Request support. Chapter 81 Whitebeard and Red Hair team up. Break into the prison and push forward the city. Ace's biological father is revealed to be Roger. What did you say? Red-haired Shanks appeared on Judicial Island. In wreaking havoc. After Zhongguo heard the other party's report, there was a flash of shock in his eyes. If he hadn't been sure that the Den Den Mushi in his hand was an emergency Den Den Mushi. I'm afraid Zhongguo thought the other party was joking with him. Didn't Red Hair appear in the sea near Impel Down before? How long has it been? How did it appear in Judicial Island? Damn it. How on earth did he do that? Zhongguo couldn't understand it at all. Pirates don't have the internal circulation of Marine. Can move quickly within the Marine sphere of influence. The situation is very tricky now. Red Hair is one of the four emperors. A being that can be compared to Big Mom Kaido and Whitebeard. It's definitely not easy to mess with. Even if a general takes action, he may not be able to defeat the opponent. Even capsizing in a ditch is not impossible. In addition, there are a lot of vice captain level pirates in the Red Hair Pirates with bounties exceeding 100 million. Zhongguo felt his scalp tingling. How to deal with it? Have all the Red Hair Pirates been dispatched? How many pirate ships are there in total? Have his affiliated pirate groups set out together? Zhongguo immediately asked what he wanted to know most. If the Red Hair Pirates come out in full force, plus dozens or hundreds of affiliated pirate groups, something big is really going to happen on Judicial Island. This is Marine's reputation. No. Fleet Admiral, the Red Hair Pirates did not show up. There is no affiliated pirate group that caused massive destruction on Judicial Island. There's only one redhead. What? There's only one redhead. Zhongguo's entire neck was tilted back. Although the situation is still critical now. But he still felt relieved. Since there is only red hair, the problem is easy to deal with. It just so happened that the fastest Admiral Kizaru was right beside him. It doesn't take much time to set off for Judicial Island immediately. As long as we can delay the red-haired boy. The rest is easy. Borsellino, urgent mission. I issue this command as Marine Fleet Admiral. Rush to Judicial Island as quickly as possible and stop red-haired Shanks's destructive behavior. No delay. I'll give you the next plan later. Sengoku immediately gave orders to Kizaru. Yeah. It's really not human to be a general. Kizaru smacked his lips. I heard that this was the highest order issued by Zhongguo in his capacity as Fleet Admiral. It's hard to say much. His figure directly turned into starlight. Disappeared in the room. He has already used the power of the Pika Pika no Mi fruit. Rushed to the judicial island as quickly as possible. Zhongguo walked out of the laboratory room directly. 1 foot on the ground. With a huge reaction force, it flew towards the Fleet Admiral office of the Marine headquarters. Up in the air, Sengoku Fleet Admiral's eyes narrowed. He is thinking. Until now, Zhongguo still doesn't understand. What on earth does Redhead want to do? Wasn't the judicial island just destroyed by Straw Hat Boy Luffy and his crew? Now everything is in a state of reconstruction with everything to be done. It can be said that it is now the judicial island. In addition, CP Group also has some useful information. Maybe there is nothing worthy of Redhead's attention anymore. Soon, Zhongguo's figure appeared directly in the office. In the room, staff officer he had been waiting for a long time. Suru, I've asked Kizaru to deal with the red hair issue on Judicial Island. Kizaru, if we keep going at full speed, we'll arrive in half an hour at most. It shouldn't be a problem to hold the red-haired boy back. What did you say? Have you already sent Kizaru to Judicial Island? Staff officer he heard what Zhongguo said. Scream out loud. Oh no. I clearly rushed here as soon as possible, but I still didn't make it. It's only been a short while and you've already sent Kizaru out. Are you secretly hanging out with Borsalino? Zhongguo, you are confused. Staff officer he slammed the table in front of him. In an instant, all kinds of documents on the desk were scattered all over the floor. Zhongguo was very surprised. He have been comrades in arms for decades. He has always been calm and composed, as if everything is under control. So much so that he saw Su Chen before the Warring States period. Everyone thought that Su Chen was deliberately pretending to be cool and imitating Chief of Staff He. But now, why is he showing such a disgraceful look? What on earth happened? Zhongguo's heart sank. He already felt it. Something bad happened. At least it is definitely not as simple as Red Hair attacking Judicial Island. Chief of Staff Crane let out a long sigh. He simply picked up the documents scattered on the ground. It was put before the Warring States again. Look. About an hour ago. The Whitebeard pirates and the Red Hair pirates. I don't know what method he used to enter the city. The communication equipment in Push City has been secretly destroyed. If we push into the city now, I'm afraid Akainu and his men will be in a tough fight. Although Magellan, Aokiji and Akainu are all strong men who can defeat hundreds of enemies at once. But they are facing Whitebeard, the most powerful man on Earth, and the hundreds of people on him and Red Hair's ship. The bounties alone exceed 1 billion, and you can't even count them on one hand. You know why Red Hair appeared on Judicial Island and wreaked havoc, right, Sengoku? He said this and took a deep breath. This is a trick used by these pirates to lure the tiger away from the mountain. The Warring States period learned about it. The city was pushed forward an hour ago. It has already been invaded by the Whitebeard and Red Hair pirates. His brows suddenly became so gloomy that water could be squeezed out of them. This is the last thing the Warring States wanted to happen. It finally happened. The situation now is extremely bad. Kizaru was transferred away. Impel Down was invaded by the Whitebeard pirates and Red Hair's men. Such a force is definitely enough to move sideways in the underwater city. We must seize the time and act, do something. Otherwise, what if Whitebeard and his crew really rescued some extraordinary being? Like the Golden Lion on the 6th floor, Bullet, Burndi, Baloric. Any one of them is released. This sea is about to shake 3 times. Damn it, I made such a stupid mistake. I will notify Borsalino to come back and help me suppress the riot in Impel Down. As long as our top warriors outnumber Whitebeard and his men, their plan to break into the prison will not work. Zhongguo said through gritted teeth. He stood aside and put the documents on the desk. Once again, it was pushed to the Warring States period. Zhongguo, don't make the same mistake you made when you were young. After reading this information, decide on your plan. Zhongguo was extremely anxious at this moment. But he was speechless after hearing what Chief of Staff he said. When he was young, he did do many things that almost led to big mistakes because of his impulsiveness. Zhongguo quickly shifted his gaze to the information that he handed over to him. After reading for a few seconds, Zhongguo. Shock appeared on his face for the 3rd time. Ace. As Roger's son. Chapter 82 Red Hair's plan succeeded. The worst situation happened. Zhongguo was unable to support. Is there no error in this file? This is no joke. Zhongguo put the document down. The look he gave Vice Admiral Suru was extremely serious. Zhongguo, how could I joke with you about something like this? The source of this information is the information you sent out to contact Blackbeard and traded back. I have confirmed this confidentially through multiple channels. Ace is Gal D. Roger's biological child. His mother is called Portgas D. Rouge, an ordinary woman from Baydrilla Island. This is impossible, Zhang Guo said firmly. After Roger died, do you know how long I was asked by those beasts of the celestial dragons to search for Roger's offspring? The whole ocean stretches from Sky Island to Mermaid Island. We Marines almost turned the entire Red Earth continent upside down. No trace of Roger's offspring was found. How come all of a sudden, Garp's grandson became Roger's child? Impossible. Absolutely impossible. If you say so, then Garp's other grandson Luffy is the sun god, right? Lieutenant General Crane, I know you have verified it in many ways. But if you want to verify it, you must have some basic knowledge about the human body. You are a woman, don't you understand the principle of pregnancy for 10 months? Staff officer, he sneered. So how do you think Portgas D. Rouge managed to give birth to Roger's only child without telling any of you? Others are pregnant for 10 months, but Rouge was pregnant with Ace for 20 months. After Ace was born, Rouge died of exhaustion. Sengoku, do you really think I would just give the position of 7 warlords of the sea to Blackbeard without thinking? All the information is here. If you feel like you have plenty of time, you can spend the whole day here looking at it. Crane's tone towards Sengoku. He was not as gentle as he was to Momoshiki and Su Chen. They have been comrades in arms who have been through life and death together for decades. A lifelong friendship. There is no atmosphere of superiority or subordinate between them at all. Warring States was silent. He looked at the various materials in his hands. This is undoubtedly evidence of Portgas D. Ace. It's the child of Roger from One Piece. Right now, Sengoku finally understood why Whitebeard had such a big reaction to them capturing Ace. Even at all costs, break into the prison and save Ace. The reason is very simple. Because Ace is Roger's child. The relationship between Whitebeard and Roger. The relationship with Crane, Garp and Warring States is not much different. You can fight to the death for the other party's offspring. Zhang Guo also understood. Where does Whitebeard get so much face? It turns out that they were able to invite the Red Hair Pirates, who are also members of the Four Emperors. Cooperate with Whitebeard and his crew to invade Impel Down. Red Hair was a crew member on Roger's ship. For the former captain's child. Nature will not let it go. Think of this. Zhang Guo couldn't help but scratch his hair hard. To be fair, Zhang Guo didn't want to kill Ace. As long as the news doesn't get out. During the Warring States period, one could turn a blind eye and pretend not to see it. Damn Blackbeard. This matter was exposed. If we had known earlier, we should have issued a buster call directly to Banero Island. Blackbeard and his crew were buried at the bottom of the sea. Now that the news has spread, they want to cover up Ace's identity. It's simply impossible. He's the Marine Fleet Admiral. There were also celestial dragons watching him from behind. Even if I am unwilling in my heart. And he can only kill Ace. Garp, I'm sorry. After Zhang Guo took a deep breath. The reluctance on his face disappeared completely. Now, he has regained his image as Fleet Admiral. Just for Marine. I lost my composure. I apologize. The situation is urgent now. We don't have time to talk about this leisurely. I already know the motives of Whitebeard, Red Hair and others for invading Impel Down. Contact Impel Down immediately and take Fire Fist Ace to the 6th floor of Impel Down. Notify the publicity clerk of the Marine headquarters to start writing the press release. We at Marine have captured Roger's offspring, announced Ace's situation, and announced that Ace will be publicly executed at a later date. To intimidate all pirates in the world. Crane nodded. They all knew that Ace was Garp's grandson, whom he treated as his own. Garp's biggest wish is for Ace and Luffy to become Marines. The announcement of Ace's public execution will definitely deal a huge blow to Garp. It is even possible that you will never recover from this setback. Suru, I still don't understand why you don't let me send Kizaru to stop Red Hair. The reconstruction plan for Judicial Island has long been on the agenda. It is understandable to let Kizaru and Red Hair make a big fuss on the island. Shouldn't we immediately concentrate all our high-end combat power in Advanced City to deal with Whitebeard and Red Hair's group? As long as I go to Impel Down together with Akainu Aokiji, we can suppress Whitebeard and his men and turn the situation around. Sengoku asked Crane suspiciously. Let me ask you, why did Red Hair make such a fuss on Judicial Island? The purpose is to lure away the high-end combat power of Marine. Kizaru will be able to hold Red Hair hostage for a while. If you were Red Hair, and you made a scene on Judicial Island but didn't attract more high-end Marines, what would you do? Zhang Guo answered without any hesitation. Stop paying attention to Kizaru and attack the Marine headquarters. If I were Red Hair, I would definitely change my target and attack the Marine headquarters. In this case, at least 2 or more great generals will be restricted by red hair and will not be able to go to Push City for support. After being reminded by he, Zhongguo suddenly came to his senses. Kizaru should have gone to Impel Down with him from the very beginning. Before red hair could react, suppress the riot in Impel Down as quickly as possible. As long as I appear in the Impel Down city, red hair wants to attract more powerful people to leave Impel Down. They will definitely change their target and attack the Marine headquarters. Recall Kizaru now. Letting him go to the Impel Down town with Sengoku is the best solution for Marine right now. Zhongguo glanced at the time on the wall behind him. More than 20 minutes had passed since Borsellino was sent out. Damn it. I don't know if there is enough time. Sengoku immediately called Kizaru. The call is not connected. Zhongguo suddenly felt something was wrong. This can only mean one thing. Yellow Monkey is fighting. There was no time to connect the phone. I'm afraid Kizaru has already started fighting with red hair. Damn it. Is it still too late? Zhongguo cursed inwardly. The thing that I least wanted to happen still happened. Chapter 83 Zhongguo. Great, it's Su Chen. We are saved. A step too slow. Staff Officer Crane sighed. His expression was also very solemn. This means that red hair has been fighting with Kizaru for some time. After discovering that there were no more general-level strong men to stop them. I will try my best to go to Marine headquarters. Attack on a wider range. It's come to this, there's nothing we can do. Zhongguo, your plan to go to Push City to support Kasaki and his men has probably failed. Just gather your men and wait in Malinfen. I want to rely on the red hair's means. It will take at most half a day to get here. He took a deep breath and said helplessly. The current situation. For Marine, this is undoubtedly the last thing he wants to see. The direct loss of 2 general-level strongmen. Push into the city. As for Akainu Aokiji, Magellan and others, they wanted to defend against the invasion of Whitebeard and his men. The pressure will become very high. Damn it. Everything was planned by those pirates. Zhongguo slumped back into his chair weakly. This time, Whitebeard and Red Hair team up to invade and advance the city. Maybe Kaido, the king of beasts, is also involved. Otherwise, why is it such a coincidence? Would Kaido and Mingo trade such a large number of artificial devil fruits in Dressrosa? He just happened to be captured by spies from the world government. Would this be another thing in itself? How to lure the tiger away from the mountain? If it weren't for their marine, a Su Chen suddenly appeared and became the 4th general. Now there are people who can guard the city. At most, there is only one person among the 3 generals. In that case, I'm afraid that Whitebeard and his group will be able to advance into the city unhindered. Sengoku, look forward to good news from Akainu and the others. Whitebeard was strong, but that was more than a decade ago. Now that he is old and weak, it is impossible for him to maintain his fighting power at its peak. Akainu and Aokiji, together with Magellan and the others, should be able to deal with them. He comforted Zhongguodao. But let's talk about the latter. In fact, staff officer he himself didn't believe it. The Whitebeard pirates are out in full force this time. Want to stop them all. It's almost impossible. Right now, Marine has almost no way to deal with it. How to break the deadlock? Staff officer he was also thinking. But so far, she has tried hundreds of possibilities. Without exception, none of them were able to stop Whitebeard from rescuing Fire Fist Ace. It would be fine if Whitebeard just rescued Ace. It was just a devastating blow to Marine's credibility. In the next few years, Marine will have no deterrent power in the eyes of pirates. But what if Whitebeard also rescued the remnants of Golden Lion's old times? That's going to be a big deal. While chief of staff he was concentrating on thinking of countermeasures. The warring states moved. He simply took out his Den Den Mushi and dialed a number. This undoubtedly came as a surprise to chief of staff he. Zhongguo, do you have a way to break the situation? What's your idea? It's rare that you came up with it before me. Zhongguo sneered. Said unhappily. It will take at least half a day to go to Impel Down to support Akainu and the others. It is impossible to suppress Whitebeard and his men before Red Hair comes alone. How can I come up with any good ideas? Just calling to ask about your precious grandson. Let's see when he can come back and see if he can save our marine from the dire situation. Hear what Zhongguo said. Staff officer E's eyes lit up. Really? Everything about Marine right now. It was all due to the schemes of Whitebeard and Red Hair. Marine's low-end combat power is now in the Marine headquarters and cannot be quickly moved to the advancement city. Their high-end combat capability is restricted by Red Hair, and they don't have as many people as the pirates. If you want to break the deadlock, the method is to increase the high-end combat capability of Marine. Now everyone in the Marine forces is in the chess game. The only person outside the chess game. There is only Marine, the new 4th admiral. That is, the grandson of Chief of Staff Crane. It's Su Chen. Beep, 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 beep. Zhongguo has called, but Su Chen hasn't answered yet. Only a few seconds had passed. But both Zhongguo and he felt the time was so long. After a while, the call was connected. Su Chen's voice slowly emerged from the Den Den Mushi. What's wrong, Sengoku Fleet Admiral? I think this is the first time you call me. Zhongguo heard Su Chen's voice. My mood instantly improved. After all, Su Chen has brought many surprises to Zhongguo. Zhongguo was thinking about how to tell Su Chen about the current situation Marine was facing. Staff officer he standing by couldn't bear to watch it anymore. He just snatched the Den Den Mushi away. Asked Su Chen. Xiao Chen, where are you now? How far is it to Impel Down? On the other end of the phone, Su Chen heard the voice of Grandma He. He knew that Granny Crane was Marine's chief of staff, so he wasn't too surprised. What was surprising was why Granny Crane knew that I had left Dressrosa. Did not return directly to Marine headquarters. Instead, he headed towards the 5th check-in point released by the system. Push the city forward. But Su Chen didn't waste any words. He directly confirmed the current location of their warship with the sailors beside him. He replied directly to Den Den Mushi. Grandma, I'm now close to Push City. It should be about 20 nautical miles at most. I will be able to reach Pushan City in about 15 minutes at most. What's the problem? After Zhongguo and he heard Su Chen's answer. The two looked at each other. They are both able to see deep into each other's eyes. See a touch of excitement and excitement. Although they don't know why Su Chen returned from Dressrosa. Not directly returning to Marine headquarters. Instead, he took a detour to Impel Down. But now the situation in Advanced City is critical. Whitebeard has been invading Impel Down for an hour. Only a few pieces of news came back from Impel Down. I have no idea what the current situation in Impel Down is like. But, anyway, the Marine warship where Su Chen is located. There are only 20 nautical miles left to Push City. 15 minutes at most. Su Chen can then reach the Push City. With Aokiji Akainu et al. Together we suppressed the invasion of Whitebeard and others. Warring States thought. Su Chen was able to reverse the situation in an instant and seal an area covering more than 20 kilometers. There is also a self-healing ability that is almost equivalent to immortality. In addition, there may be a remote control ability that can control a strong person at the level of Jeline Saint. Zhongguo was so excited that he wanted to cheer for Su Chen. Great, it's Su Chen. We are saved. Chapter 84 New Mission. Stop Whitebeard from breaking out of prison. Chatten vomits blood. Momoshiki wants him to die 8,000 times. Su Chen, the current situation is very difficult. I need you to go to Impel Down right now and support Akainu and Aokiji. Warring States hurriedly used the simplest words. What will happen? Marine is now in danger. And told Su Chen what Su Chen needed to do now. Hear the news told by Zhongguo. Su Chen answered the phone. A hint of surprise flashed across his face. Good job. It is indeed the butterfly effect. Because I traveled through time. Then a series of actions were taken that changed the original plot. Now, when the Straw Hat Boy and his crew are still in the horror 3D sailboat plot. The Impel Down riots had already occurred. The one who broke into the prison was none other than Monkey D. Luffy, the protagonist of One Piece. Instead, it turned out to be Whitebeard and his group. There is even a red-haired person involved. It provided considerable help to the Whitebeard pirates in their invasion of Impel Down. And himself. He even went straight to Judicial Island. Attracted Marine's high-end combat power. Prevent it from affecting Whitebeard's prison break plan. How much he loves his son. Whitebeard was so anxious to save Ace. I'm afraid there are other reasons. Su Chen touched his chin. Start thinking. Blackbeard must have revealed the news that Ace's biological father is Roger to the Marine forces. Otherwise, Whitebeard wouldn't act so quickly. Now push into town. There really aren't that many high-end combat forces among the friendly forces that are trying to stop Whitebeard. Rain Shiryu will definitely rebel. Not a friendly party at all. Although Magellan's poison fruit is powerful, it is more of a group attack capability and is just so-so against single targets. The task of resisting Whitebeard. It still falls on Akainu and Aokiji. In the original plot of One Piece. During the war at the top, Aokiji and Akainu showed their strength. Although his strength is close to Whitebeard, he is still in a life-and-death battle. One person definitely cannot defeat Whitebeard. Only if Aokiji and Akainu attack together can they have a chance to defeat Whitebeard. But what about others? There are 43 captains under Whitebeard. And the red hair pirates, except Shanks himself. Others include Usopp's father Jesus Bu and Ben Beckman. Are we going to leave it to the small fry in the Impel Down city to deal with them one by one? The rest, I don't think I need to solve all of them by myself. Obviously, this was a battle of unequal strength. Su Chen thought of this in his heart. On the sea in the distance. The outline of Impel Down city has already appeared faintly. Yes, Fleet Admiral. I'm almost at Impel Down. Wait for my good news. Su Chen finished speaking. He just hung up the phone. Brother, what's going on? Momoshiki asked with some confusion. She looked from Su Chen's face. That expression went from indifferent to suddenly serious. It can be seen that what the Warring States Fleet Admiral told us was not simple. I'm afraid it's not as difficult as the mission to stop Mingo and Kaido from trading in Dressrosa this time. It's nothing serious. Whitebeard invaded Impel Down. Fleet Admiral Sengoku said that Red Hair is causing trouble on Judicial Island and could sneak away to Marine headquarters at any time. So he has to stay in Marinefenduo, so he has no extra combat power to send to us. After we land in Impel Down, we just need to cooperate with Akainu Aokiji and the others. Just stop Whitebeard from rescuing Fire Fist Ace. Su Chen spoke very calmly. There's nothing dangerous about this at all. It's as common as your uncle calling and asking you to remember to bring a bottle of soy sauce when you go home. But Momoshiki heard it. The whole person felt as if struck by lightning. The delicate body just stood there blankly. Whitebeard actually invaded Impel Down. This is a place that is known as an iron wall. Not only does it have a large number of Poseidons, but it is also built on the seabed in the doldrums. How did Whitebeard manage to invade Impel Down right under Marine's nose? Now the enemy is invading the city. Momoshiki will definitely have to confront its forces head-on. To be honest, last time on Banero Island, Momoshiki was sealed with the fruit and the domineering Whitebeard was killed with one sword. She just had some trauma in her heart towards Whitebeard. Go inform Vice Admiral Chatten that we are ready to land in Impel Down. I don't know if I'll run into friendly forces first or be ambushed first when I get close to Advance City. Be prepared to fight at any time. Su Chen gave instructions to the accompanying sailors. Then he said it again to Momoshiki beside him. Sister Momoshiki, your mission this time. I don't ask much of you. Just try not to die before I reach Impel Down level 6. This time, Whitebeard was prevented from breaking out of prison. But it's different from stopping the deal between Mingo and Kaido. You have to fight hard. As long as they fight with all their might, it is normal for casualties to occur. Momoshiki is quite capable though. But when they were on Banero Island, it was already very difficult for them to face the Vice President Marco. Not to mention the members of the Red Hair Pirates that they might have to face later. If the other party attacks in groups and really intends to do whatever it takes for Roger's son, then Momoshiki might really be in danger of her life. As long as Su Chen completes what the system has released, this will be the 5th check-in in the Advancement City. Su Chen's system can be upgraded. A chance to receive a reward of your choice. The prize pool includes eternal life. In the Book of the 10 Days End, Chisha could rely on eternal life to resurrect Unianon and Wen Chaoyun. Even using flesh and blood to revive the entire land of the end. Since the first time he signed into the system, Momoshiki has always been nice to Su Chen. So even if Momoshiki died, as long as Su Chen successfully entered the level 6 of the Advancement City to check in this time. After the next sign-in, choose Eternal Life and there will be no problem in reviving Momoshiki. But this sentence. It reached Momoshiki's ears. The taste has changed. Momoshiki always felt that Su Chen was very powerful. I kind of looked down on her as her elder sister. Suddenly, she snorted softly. Don't worry. Even if that fat pig Chatten died 100 times or 1,000 times. I won't die either. Momoshiki finished saying this. Chaton Kaji also received a notice from the miscellaneous fish marine. Arrived at the cabin to meet up. At this moment, Lieutenant General Chatten was wearing loose clothes. There were bandages all over his body. He is obviously injured. These injuries were not caused by fighting with the enemy, but by the shock wave generated after Su Chen used thunder. After returning from Dressrosa, Chatten has been holding a grudge in his heart. He was seriously injured just by being hit by the aftermath of Su Chen's attack. This is really embarrassing. But now, I have just arrived at the cabin. He heard Momoshiki's words. Momoshiki wants to die 100 times 1,000 times. Hearing this, Chatten became furious again. The old blood that has been held in my heart. It sprayed directly out of the T-Pig's mouth. Can't stop it. Chapter 85. Magellan. I can't defeat him. I apply to release Shiryu of Rain. Advance the city. Second floor. Beast Hell. Aokiji and Akainu both looked serious. They looked at Whitebeard, who was 7 meters tall and holding a naginata. After the battle just now, Aokiji and Akainu have been discovered. Even if both of them attacked Whitebeard with all their strength at the same time. It's just that I can do it. Just suppress Whitebeard. Want to truly defeat Whitebeard. It simply cannot be achieved quickly overnight. Now, the Whitebeard and Red Hair pirates have hundreds or thousands of members. Directly invaded Impel Down, without the assistance of their two marine admirals. Magellan alone. He wants to resist the pirates with bounties of over 100 million on the ships of Whitebeard and Red Hair. It's impossible. Kasasuke, Aokiji. You know, it won't take long. It's impossible to defeat me. I told you that at the beginning. Ace, I will be rescued sooner or later. Whitebeard smiled brightly. Looks very domineering. Aokiji, is there any news from Marine headquarters? Akainu's eyes were serious. He had just used all his strength on Whitebeard. Even teaming up with Aokiji. Directly penetrated the first floor of Crimson Hell. None of them caused much effective damage to Whitebeard. No. I have just sent someone to contact Fleet Admiral's emergency number. The Marine headquarters must have received the news. But it is not clear at the moment why the Marine headquarters did not respond to the message, nor did they immediately send reinforcements. Logically speaking, even if it was Fleet Admiral who was guarding Marin Fendo, Borsellino should have arrived long ago. Aokiji didn't understand. Why until now? Marine still has no intention of recruiting new members. Damn it. Kizaru, could it be that he has received the news and is slacking off? If Kizaru was here, or if that kid Su Chen was here. We will definitely not be so passive now. At least we can stop those little pirates who broke through the blockade, there won't be any problem. Akainu's chest continued to rise and fall. Obviously during the fight with Whitebeard just now. He consumes a lot. But now Whitebeard remains calm. If we continue fighting like this, it won't be a problem to hold out for a few days and nights. But Akainu is worried about who will run out of energy first, him or Aokiji. Do you find it strange? Why hasn't that Zhongguo guy sent reinforcements after so long? Whitebeard laughed, revealing his white teeth. Don't you find it strange that Shanks's men were involved in the prison break, but Shanks himself was not there? As soon as these words came out, Akainu and Aokiji's expressions changed drastically at the same time. They all immediately understood what was going on. The redhead might be somewhere else, limiting the number of marine recruits. The purpose is to buy time for Whitebeard and his crew. That's why Whitebeard went to so much trouble. Just to save Garp's grandson. Just because of that stinking brat, I accepted you as my godfather. Isn't this a bit too funny? Do you know how many of your people and my people died in Push City in just 1 minute? Akainu snorted. He's different. I promised that guy that I would definitely take good care of his child. Whitebeard still had that domineering smile on his face. Beep, beep, beep. The Den Den Mushi in Aokiji's pocket started to ring. He answered the phone. General Aokiji. Have you guys dealt with Whitebeard? We can't hold on here any longer. You know my situation. I can only fight for a few hours at most. The pressure from the other side is really too much. I feel like if you guys don't come to support me, I'll be defeated by them before I even pull my pants pockets. On the phone. It was Magellan's voice. At this moment, he is in the 4th level of the burning hell. Stop the attack of Whitebeard's men and Redhair's men. Taking advantage of the terrain and the ability of the fruit. Magellan originally had a considerable advantage. Until the Phoenix Marco, and the red-haired deputy captain. Ben Beckman is here. Strong strength. Let the balance of victory reverse instantly. Magellan's side was originally in the advantageous position. It instantly became an extreme disadvantage. If it weren't for Magellan's persistence. I'm afraid it has already been broken through by Marco and others. What? Magellan, when you reported to me just now, weren't you still on the 3rd floor? How come we are already on the 4th floor and are about to fail? Aokiji gritted his teeth. At this moment, he felt a sense of powerlessness in his heart. Marco and Ben Beckman and those guys. Each of them has a bounty that exceeds 10 figures. If he defends one person alone, maybe Magellan still has a chance. But if you are attacked by a group of people, Magellan's defeat was inevitable. What to do now? Aokiji was troubled. He and Akainu were held back by Whitebeard. There is no news about Marine's recruitment. Even if Fleet Admiral sent Kizaru over. I'm afraid it can only hold off a few powerful men at the Vice-Emperor level. Only dozens of Whitebeard's captains are left. The same can't be kept. General Aokiji, if you can't handle Whitebeard. Can I request the release of the former warden of level 6, Rain Shiryu? Let him join me in resisting the powerful enemy. Magellan's voice on the phone sounded very anxious. Aokiji also showed a hint of hesitation after hearing this. Then he felt ruthless. Special times call for special methods. Magellan, I allow you to release Shiryu of Rain and let him fight against the invading pirates with you. As long as this crisis is successfully overcome, I will apply to Fleet Admiral to cancel his guilt. Good. I feel relieved when you say this. Magellan was also relieved to hear that Aokiji was willing to release Rain Shiryu. As long as there is Rain Shiryu joins. Then the burden on his shoulders will be much lighter. Whitebeard watched Aokiji hang up the phone. Smiled. Are you done with the call? It's time to continue accompanying me, an old man, and stretch your body. Akainu, Aokiji. Aokiji put away the phone. Said coldly to Whitebeard. Well, thank you again. Give me a chance to communicate with my subordinates. Since you want to relax your muscles, Kasasuke and I are willing to accompany you to the end. Aokiji finished speaking. Both he and Akainu were full of energy. The devil fruit in the body is fully activated. Whitebeard also wielded his Sokumo Kirei. Terrifying shock energy emerges from his blade. The war is about to begin. Chapter 86 Liberate the monsters of the old times. Jinbei is desperate. Everything will be irreversible. Advanced City. Level 6. It's Daddy. That vibrating feeling just now must have been caused by Dad's tremor fruit ability. Fire Fist Ace was very excited. Trying to break free from the shackles. But you can imagine that it is impossible to succeed. The fishman Jinbei saw it. A little surprised. Boy, are you saying that Whitebeard is coming to push the city? That's right. Dad is here to save me. Ace's eyes suddenly lit up. If it really is Whitebeard, maybe we really have a chance to escape. Jinbei said thoughtfully. Just at this moment, a man trotted down the stairs quickly. It immediately attracted the attention of all the prisoners on the 6th floor. Except for the Fire Fist Ace who was just transferred here. Can be locked up here. They were all once powerful figures on the sea. Just now, Whitebeard and Akainu Aokiji fought, causing a huge shock that shook the entire Impel down. They all made them realize that something was wrong. They all realized it. Something big seems to have happened in Push City. Hey, kid, what happened up there? If you don't want to die, tell me quickly. A relatively remote room. Crocodile threatened the soldier. Ask him to tell what happened above. Ha 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 ha, Crocodile. You are so powerful that you are already in shackles. You still think you are a high and mighty local emperor who can boss people around. The Golden Lion laughed. Laugh again, believe it or not, wait until I get out. The first thing I'll do is kill you, you old fool. After Crocodile was taunted by the Golden Lion Shiki. His eyes were cold. This man came down from the level 5 passage. He ignored anyone in the prison. Instead, he came to a corner where no one noticed. This cell. It was completely covered in shadows, and it was impossible to see who was imprisoned inside. The man is at the door. The other party gave a standard marine salute. Then he said loudly, Mr. Shiryu of the Rain. I am following the orders of Lord Magellan, the director of the Deep Sea Great Prison. I'm here to let you out. Hear what this man says. Shiryu of Rain, who was shrouded in shadows in the room, finally made some movement. Interesting, Magellan actually wants to let me out. What kind of wind is blowing? What is the plan? The man nodded. Answered you Shiryu. Sir Shiryu of the Rain, Lord Magellan said before releasing you. You must agree to come out and fight alongside Lord Magellan against the enemies that break into Impel Down. As long as you are willing to make amends for your crime and successfully defend against these pirates, then the admirals will apply to the fleet admiral. Your charges are dropped. When Shiryu heard the news, a look of surprise appeared on her face. Interesting. I agree. Let me out, and give me my sword. Got the answer from Rain Shiryu. The man also released you Shiryu very quickly. By the way, he also returned Marine's Cloak of Justice and Thunderstorm sword to Shiryu of Rain. After Rain Shiryu put everything on. He also smoked a cigar very comfortably. The whole person revealed a sense of refreshing pleasure. Master Shiryu of the Rain, Magellan specifically instructed me to do so. After you leave the prison, you need to go to level 4 immediately to meet up with Master Magellan and fight against the powerful enemy together. It has been several minutes since the time Master Magellan gave me. Please hurry up. Marine, who was delivering the key to Shiryu Yu, saw that Shiryu Yu was always in a carefree state. Seeing that Yuji Shiryu was not anxious at all, the marine soldier suddenly became anxious. After all, when Magellan sent him, the situation was already very critical. If we delay any further, I'm afraid something terrible will happen in Push City. Faster. Rain Shiryu slowly took the last puff of the cigar in his hand. He glanced at the anxious marine soldier nearby. He said something with disdain. Are you teaching me how to do things? Brush it. Rain Shiryu's words were not finished yet. A terrifying cold light that is almost impossible to capture with the naked eye. It just flashed right past the Marine soldier. This guy's body was chopped off abruptly. The level 6 prisoners around. Seeing the rain, Shiryu suddenly did this. They were all a bit unexpected. Even Jinbei, who is next to Ace and will join Luffy's protagonist group in the future, is no exception. Rain Shiryu, are you sure you want to do this? You were imprisoned because you cruelly treated the soldiers in Push City. I'm doing this when I'm redeeming myself for my crimes. I'm waiting for the Marines to come and quell the civil unrest. You must be on the liquidation list. Do you want to stay in Impel Down forever? Rain Shiryu casually shook off the blood on his sword. Said to Jinbei in an indifferent tone. When did Laozi say he would help Magellan? I've disliked that guy for a long time. Now must be the most critical moment for Magellan. That was when I stabbed him. Didn't you feel the tremor just now? That's right, that must be Whitebeard's fruit ability. Such a clear vibration can be felt even on the 6th floor of the sea. I'm afraid Whitebeard's men have already penetrated deeper than the 2nd floor. In this case, Jinbei. If I stab Magellan again, do you think Impel Downs can still hold out until marine reinforcements arrive? Rain Shiryu's tone was very calm. But it is so peaceful. In the entire Impel Down City level 6, everyone's heart exploded with a huge wave. Rain no Shiryu, you are absolutely crazy. Jinbei exclaimed. He even came directly to the cell door. Yelled angrily. Although he was also a prisoner, he knew it clearly. If the city riots at this time, what a terrible impact it will have on the sea. Once the level 6 prisoners see the light of day, it will be a disaster with countless lives lost. Even the residents of Fishman Island were not immune to the disaster. Ha ha ha. Dad really came to save me. I knew he wouldn't give up on me. Ace said excitedly beside Jinbei. And deep in the cell. Crocodile never looked at Shiryu of Rain from beginning to end. It was the body of the Marine. Beside him. In addition to the key that unlocks Rain Shiryu's cell, there are other keys. He smiled. Said to Rain Shiryu. Yo, Rain Shiryu. Are you planning on getting revenge on Marine? Then why don't you consider using the key on the ground to free us all? Rain Shiryu heard Crocodile's voice. A hint of deep disdain first appeared in his eyes. Then there was a flash of appreciation. Good idea, that's what I want to see. The keychain on the ground was picked up. The key lock of the level 6 cell emitted a series of harsh metallic collision sounds. The lock is opened. Golden Lion, Burndi, King of Evil Government, Red Earl. Monsters from an old time. Getting ready. Slowly walked out of the cell. Seeing this, Jinbei closed his eyes in despair. The sharp nails pierced directly into the flesh. Blood was flowing out of it. He muttered to himself. It's over. Chapter 87 Shiryu's Sneak Attack in the Rain. Magellan. Haha, please eat daddy. Gurgle gurgle. Gulp gurgle gurgle. There were bursts of noise. Appeared in Magellan's stomach. This is a bad sign. This means that Magellan's 4-hour workday is about to end. He will completely lose his ability to fight. Head to the toilet for a 20-hour spray session. Because the poison fruit is too powerful. This caused Magellan's body to suffer a certain degree of backlash. Little Sadie. Go and help me see when that damn guy Shiryu will come to help. I really can't hold on any longer. Magellan shouted to the people beside him. A sexy girl with big wavy golden hair, known as Little Sadie. After listening, I could only nod. Run directly towards level 6. As Magellan's subordinate, she naturally knew that the situation was critical. If Yuji Shiryu doesn't come to support the show. Even if Magellan put it in his trouser pocket, it would be useless. And opposite Magellan. It's a huge wall of venom. This wall is more than 10 meters high and several meters thick. The road from the 4th floor to the 5th floor is completely blocked. Any object contaminated by this poison will be corroded instantly. Even if you use long-range attack skills, you can only wear down the thickness of the poison wall. Magellan could quickly replenish the lost venom. Jesus raised an eyebrow. It seems like there's a chance for a breakthrough. Magellan has a physical problem. Good opportunity. Ben Beckman clicked his tongue. He said with disbelief. Are you sure? Magellan's ability is too disgusting. Even if I use my domineering power to block it, I will still be infected with the poison. Jesus, if there is something wrong with your intelligence. We are going to lose a few brothers here. Jesus nodded. That's right, trust me. My observation Haki can sense that the energy in his body has begun to become disordered and out of control. In 5 minutes at most, he will lose control of the fruit's power. Even if we do nothing at that time, Magellan will lose his ability to fight. I hope your information is correct. Our time is very precious now. Who knows how much time Whitebeard and Shanks can buy us with Marine. If Marine turns the tables on us, calls in Kong, and launches a full-scale attack on us. Then we must retreat. Ben Beckman heard that Jesus Bu came to this conclusion after using his observation hockey. It means nothing anymore. After all, in the Red Hair Pirates, there is only one other person besides the leader Shanks. The person with the strongest observation hockey is the Jesus in front of us. He said there was something wrong with Magellan, so there must be something wrong soon. Everyone began to rest on the spot, waiting for the poison wall released by Magellan to reveal a flaw. And at this time, a loud voice was heard from the passage above. Cry. Then, a deep blue phoenix came rushing over from a distance. The person who came was actually the first captain of the Whitebeard pirates, Marco. He saw that everyone in the Red Hair Pirates was resting in place. Just because of a wall, we stopped moving forward. I was suddenly a little angry. You guys, now is not the time to relax. If you want to rest, once the mission is completed, I can treat you to a party for a few days and nights. Isn't it the most important thing right now to rescue Ace? Marco's eagerness did not surprise anyone present. Jesus shrugged, said to Marco, Marco, I know you are anxious. But don't rush. In a few minutes at most, this poisonous wall will disappear on its own. Captain Shanks told us that rescuing Ace is the top priority. Of course we will try our best. Marco raised an eyebrow. Obviously, he didn't believe in Jesus, this smooth-talking guy. Wouldn't it be possible to break through this poisonous wall in a matter of minutes? I will take action. Make a big hole, and then you can rush in with me and it will be over. After saying that, Marco immediately transformed into the form of a phoenix. Directly facing the poisonous wall, start accumulating power. Well, young people nowadays just don't listen to advice. Jesus sighed helplessly. The next moment, Marco has finished accumulating strength. A huge beam of light with a diameter of 2 meters blasted towards the poison wall. Instantly, a huge gust of wind erupted. Everyone present narrowed their eyes. But the beam dissipated. Not to mention a hole for someone to break through, the poison wall simply became much thinner. How is it possible? That poison wall can actually corrode even the attacks I released. Marco was visibly shocked. The last time someone shocked him so much was Su Chen. There are only a handful of people in the entire ocean who can block his move just now. If Magellan didn't have any ability, why would Sengoku let him manage Impel down? Jesus Bu had a look on his face that showed he wasn't going to listen to the old man. Don't worry, we've already tried it. The only thing that can break through the poison wall is domineering power. But Magellan's poison fruit can erode hockey. If you don't cut off the connection with your hockey in time, Magellan can even use hockey to infect you with a deadly poison. Marco's eyes narrowed. Ability to cause such a heaven-defying effect. I'm afraid Magellan's devil fruit ability has already awakened. We can only wait. The conversation between the Red Hair Pirates and Marco was not hidden. Naturally, the news reached Magellan's ears on the other side of the wall. Damn it, these guys know I can't hold on any longer. What should I do? I can't report to either the admiral or the fleet admiral. At least before I completely pull my pants into my pocket, I must stick to my duties until the last moment. Magellan was extremely grateful that he had slacked off at work. He insists on lifting his anus every day. So at this time, even if it has reached the limit and is about to be unable to hold it back. Even the domineering power is no longer usable. But Magellan was still able to display his abilities. If it had happened before, he would have fainted and put the money in his trouser pocket. He thought in his heart, while releasing a large amount of thick venom towards the poisonous wall. Just at this moment, Magellan heard footsteps behind him. He was overjoyed. Very good. It must be little Sati who has returned with Rain Shiryu. At critical moments, it is still my beautiful prison guard who is reliable. Magellan smiled in his heart. But just when he was about to turn around, a bloody sword blade stabbed out from behind him. Magellan's pupils suddenly shrank into pinholes. He could sense the person who was making the sneak attack. By using the armament hockey, he directly bypassed the automatic protection ability of the poison fruit. This is what it means to be brave enough to die. Who is it? Magellan, who had already reached his limit at this moment, felt a black screen before his eyes. He fell directly to the ground. Before losing consciousness, he saw Yu Shiryu showing a sinister smile. From a distance, one could see little Sadie lying on the ground, her life or death unknown. Why? Magellan roared in his heart. But he could no longer utter any words. Ha 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 ha. Magellan, die. Rain Shiryu saw himself piercing Magellan's heart. I saw him fall straight down. The butt is facing upwards towards you. He suddenly burst into laughter. He was sure that Magellan was doomed. But at this moment, with a puff, it came suddenly from Magellan's A. Yu Shiryu was stunned for a moment, then seemed to realize something. I wanted to retreat, but it was too late. Because Magellan lost consciousness. He had been struggling to get out of the way, but now there was finally no obstruction. Start spraying. Although Shiryu of Rain dodged the subsequent large amount of spray and came to the side. But the very beginning part. Not hiding at all. That little piece of stuff. Even because of the laughter of Rain Shiryu, I ejaculated into his mouth. Suddenly, Rain Shiryu's entire face turned pitch black. Chapter 88 Jesus Bu. My son Usopp has the potential to be an emperor. Magellan fell. He fell down in a very embarrassed manner. Even if I describe it, this chapter may be reviewed and approved by Dear Potato Novel for Harmony. Wall of Venom. Because the constant supply has been lost. It also became a rootless duckweed. Destroyed by Marco and his men. After the venom wall disappeared. Appeared in front of everyone. It's Rain Shiryu with a mad look on his face. At this moment, Shiryu is kneeling on the ground. He frantically dug his hands into his throat. Because he was facing away from everyone. So everyone thought this was some unique battle preparation posture of Rain Shiryu. There are still enemies. It's Rain no Shiryu, I know him. He was the former director of Impel Down. Is it going to be another tough battle? Marco and the others' eyes were full of vigilance. They believed that in order to move forward, they need to defeat Rain Shiryu. But everyone waited for a long time. All of them didn't see Shiryu launch an offensive. He doesn't even want to talk trash. It was only at this time that Marco and his group realized that something was wrong. Jesus was just about to say something to Shiryu. To get some information. But then, he exuded his observation haki. Immediately, I captured something. The whole person stood there stiffly. What's wrong, Jesus? I haven't seen you look like this in a long time. Why do you look like you've seen a ghost? Lackey Lu, who was eating the fat meat, asked with some doubt. But Jesus didn't answer anything. Still had a dull look on his face. Just when everyone was confused. Far away. An extremely familiar figure. He ran out from the stairs. The man was shirtless. He has a pockmarked face and wears a string of strange beads. This was obviously the target of their risky prison break. The second captain of the Whitebeard pirates. Roger's own son. Fire Fist Ace. Ace, you actually came out. Great, are you okay? Marco saw Ace rushing out from the stairs and jogging towards the crowd. Suddenly, an excited expression appeared on his face. I'm fine. I'm fine. Marco, tell me quickly, what's going on with Daddy now? Marco excitedly hugged Ace and gave him a big bear hug. Dad is up there, holding back the two Marine generals. Don't worry, Dad is very powerful. Even if it's 1 against 3 or 1 against 4, it's totally no problem. Stop talking about this, and follow us to leave Impel Down. Who knows when the Marine support will arrive? The red hair pirates confirmed that Ace was safe and sound. There was also a look of relief in his eyes. Before this action, people also asked Shanks why he took such a big risk. We also need to cooperate with that madman Whitebeard to invade Impel Down. Just to save a small pirate with a mere 500 million bounty. But when Shanks told them the secret that Ace's biological father was Roger, all doubts were instantly dispelled. Ace is Roger's son. Their captain is one of Roger's crew members. Regardless of emotion or reason. Even if it means going through fire and water, Ace must rescue him. Ace, although now is a very bad time to say this. But can you write an autograph for my son? Jesus suddenly interrupted the conversation between Marco and Ace. He took out a strip of cloth and a pen from his pocket. My son's name is Usopp. He will definitely be very happy when he receives the gift. Ace thought for a moment. Are you talking about the guy with the long nose? I saw him on Luffy's pirate ship. That kid wouldn't be happy to receive my autograph, right? After all, I'm just an ordinary pirate. What the hell? Oh my god. Oh my god. Usopp is a pirate, I must be dreaming. Jesus heard that his son had become a pirate. The whole person froze in place. Jesus quickly analyzed the information from Ace's words. Luffy's ship. Before Luffy and his crew caused a big disturbance on Judicial Island, Jesus Bu was paying attention. My own son is among them. Instantly Jesus linked the two together. A bounty picture appeared in Jesus Bu's mind. It's the long-nosed bounty with the ugly mask. Sniper King. A great pirate with a bounty of 30 million. How long has my son been out to sea? That's a high reward. Success. An expression of great excitement suddenly appeared on Jesus' old face. He doesn't care what time it is. He showed off directly to Ben Beckman beside him. Oh my, a little notebook. Do you know that the one who caused a commotion on Judicial Island was my son? No, Shanks will be back soon, and I need to talk to him again alone. Ha 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 ha, my son is a big pirate. More promising than his father. A reward of 30 million. The reward for that crocodile guy is only 80 million Baileys. My son must be incredibly powerful. Just as Jesus was excitedly showing off Usopp's achievements to his companions. Suddenly, inexplicable yellow sand appeared on the ground. There was even the sound of leather shoes in the distance. Ta, da, da. Everyone is not a weak person, and their 5 senses are naturally strong. They all discovered the sound coming from the end of the passage. Someone's coming again. Who is this old man, talking about lousy here? Crocodile's voice. Coming from the passage. Suddenly everyone was very surprised. Ace wasn't the only one who escaped. Crocodile, one of the former Shichibukai, also managed to escape from prison. Beep, what's wrong with you? Isn't your bounty only 88 million? I'm not telling the truth. Haha, I remember now, Alabasta, you were also defeated by the Straw Hat Boys. You are my son's defeated opponent. Ha ha, Jesus said with a smug look on his face. Ben Beckman frowned. Hey, Jesus, don't get carried away. We are not out of danger yet. Crocodile snorted. Straw Hat Boy, that's exactly what happened. No wonder I hate him so much, it turns out he's your son. If I wasn't in a hurry to get out of here, I might really fight with you. Crocodile said. He simply ignored Jesus and the crowd. It turned directly into dust and flew towards level 3. Let's go. Get out of here, Marco said to Ace. But at this moment, without any warning, several figures walked out of the passage again. Golden Lion, Burndy, the king of evil government, the Red Earl. These monsters of the old times. One by one they appeared in everyone's sight. They didn't care about the people present at all. Even people like Marco and Ben Beckman whose bounties are in the tens figures. It seems that in their eyes, we are all just like ants. Everyone's pupils were shaking. It took a long time for everyone to recover. They looked at each other. They all saw the same answer from each other's eyes. Impel down, it's over. Something big is going to happen in this ocean. Chapter 89 Gangji Yukong. Su Chen can sacrifice himself, but Ace cannot be rescued. Marine Headquarters. Inside the Fleet Admiral's office. Sengoku Fleet Admiral was pacing back and forth anxiously. Staff Officer He on the side saw this. He shook his head helplessly. What's the use of worrying? Just take a good rest. Gather your strength. Maybe the red-haired man will come and you will need to suppress him. Didn't you already send Garp to Impel Down? Let's hope Garp can handle the riot in Impel Down properly. I believe in Garp's strength. He will have no problem restraining Whitebeard at least. When Aokiji and Akainu are free, we can take care of those invading pirates. Sengoku sighed. Nod. Sit back in the chair. Staff Officer He is right. No matter how anxious I am now, it will be in vain. Marine has deployed the best command. There's no use in being anxious. Now I should take good care of myself and conserve my energy. Come take on the upcoming red-haired Shanks. Push forward to the city. Even if a top warrior like Garp was sent, it would still not be able to solve the riot in Impel Down. I'm afraid I can only ask for help from my immediate boss, Kong Gang. That's when it happened. In front of the Warring States period. The Den Den Mushi started ringing. It's a Den Mushi for emergency contact. Zhongguo's eyes turned serious. I answered the phone immediately. But after the call was connected, no sound came immediately. The Warring States period was somewhat confused. What's going on? Is the person on the other end of the phone mute? But soon, Jinbei's voice came out. Fleet Admiral Sengoku, I'm Sea Knight Jinbei. That former 7 warlords of the sea who was removed from the list. I know who you are. Jinbei, aren't you being held in the secret level 6 in Impel Down? Why did you call me like this? How did you get the emergency Den Den Mushi? What on earth is happening in Impel Down now? For Jinbei's call, Sengoku Fleet Admiral showed great surprise. Aside, Staff Officer Suru overheard the conversation between Fleet Admiral Sengoku and Jinbei. His complexion suddenly changed. Jinbei was able to call Zhongguo. And he used a secret emergency contact phone bug. There is only one possibility. That means level 6 failed. The entire Push City has been completely occupied. Marine failed. Just like you guessed, Sengoku Fleet Admiral. Maybe it's worse than you think. The situation is urgent now, so I'd better make it short. Rain Shiryu betrayed, and he got the key to Magellan's 6th floor prison. Let Ace go, as well as Red Earl, Golden Lion and the others. I'm on the 4th floor now. The Den Den Mushi was taken from Magellan. Magellan has a puncture wound on his chest. Although he is still breathing faintly, I'm afraid he is already dying. What? After Chief of Staff Suru and Fleet Admiral Sengoku heard Jinbei's report on the situation in Impel Down. They shouted in unison. They gasped almost at the same time. Hiss hiss hiss. Rain Shiryu betrayed. He actually let all the guys on level 6 go. Something big happened. This person was secretly imprisoned on the 6th floor of Impel Down. If they were released, each of them would be a figure that could cause an earthquake in the world. Compared to this, Sengoku and Chief of Staff Crane think. Magellan's death and Shiryu's betrayal no longer matter. Just a Red Earl. Or maybe Shiki the Golden Lion. It is already comparable to the 4 emperors. Now push forward the city's marine strength. Even with the marine hero Garp, there is also the support of the newly appointed 4th Marine General Su Chen. Will these pirates, who were once famous on the sea, surrender? I think I know the answer. Face these enemies. Want to suppress. It is almost an impossible task. The worst outcome. Even the entire Impel Down city will disappear into the sea. If this thing really happened, I'm afraid Marine will be nailed to the pillar of shame. Jinbei, no matter what your purpose is, report this to me. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Zhongguo hesitated for a few seconds. Said on the phone, no need to thank me, I am just an ordinary person in this whole ocean. You should know better than me what the consequences would be if these guys escaped. Let's not talk nonsense. I know you have more important things to do now. Jinbei finished speaking. He just hung up the phone. The moment the phone was hung up, Sengoku didn't hesitate. I just used Den Den Mushi to dial another number. This phone call. It's the number of the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Kong Gang. Zhongguo, even if you ask Kong for help now, it will take at least 3 hours. Only then can they gather all the manpower and support Advance City. Staff officer he reminded. She thought that calling Kong Gong for help would not be of any use at all in the battlefield of Impel Down, which was full of powerful people and changing rapidly. What else can we do? Would you rather watch our Marine's admiral and your precious grandson die? I'm willing to throw away my old face and ask for help from Kong. Even if it only increases their chances of survival by 0.01%, it's worth it. Don't you know who the prisoners on the 6th floor are? Golden Lion, Red Earl, World Breaker Burndy. Each of these guys would be enough to give Garp a headache. If they all escape from prison, do you think Su Chen and his team can stop them? While Sengoku refuted Chief of Staff Crane, he quickly entered Kyombi Sora's number. If only one Whitebeard invaded Impel Down. That Zhongguo relied on his understanding of Su Chen. He believed that Su Chen could suppress the rebellion. After all, we have Garp and Aokiji Akainu to help. With his strange ability, there would be no problem in holding Whitebeard back and dealing with the others. But what if we add the other prisoners on the 6th floor? Zhongguo would not hesitate for a second. If we attack together, it would take Garp's peak combat power. Or maybe Roger Rox is resurrected. Otherwise, it would be impossible to be the opponent of these vicious prisoners. It can even save your life. Warring States is lucky. After all, as long as the person is not dead, there is still a chance for everything. In Zhongguo's heart, he was extremely unwilling. But he had already made the difficult preparation to give up pushing the city. Hey, Sengoku. I got the message. Your Impel Down town has been invaded by Whitebeard, right? Call me now. Haha, you guys can't handle it, are you ready to ask me for help? The call is connected. Came Steelbone Sora's voice. No time for nonsense. The situation is extremely urgent. The prisoners on the 6th floor of Advance City have escaped collectively. I request maximum support. I have just found out the reason why Whitebeard and Red Hair invaded Impel Down. To rescue the descendants of One Piece Roger. On the other end of the phone. Steel Bone Kong, who was originally in a joking mood. There was silence for a moment. Only the sound of heavy breathing remained. I will send support as quickly as possible. I know it's almost impossible. Before that, you must hold on. Even if it means paying the greatest sacrifice, we must not let Roger's offspring be rescued. Chapter 90 Ace rescued successfully. Whitebeard won a great victory. Marine was defeated miserably. Boom boom boom. A large amount of ice debris and magma exploded in the air. Appeared with it. There were also terrifying tremors like an earthquake. Aokiji and Akainu both retreated violently at the same time. With extremely fast speed, he dodged the oncoming shock wave. The shock wave was so fast, but it looked so slow. In fact, it is only slightly less bright than Borsellino's. Aokiji whispered, quickly analyzing Whitebeard's current combat effectiveness. Marine is under a lot of pressure right now. Faced with the organized and premeditated prison break plan by Whitebeard and the Red Hair Pirates. They simply can't be bothered with everything. I just don't know if Magellan and Yuji Shiryu can resist those vice captains with a bounty of more than 1 billion. Aokiji, you can't hold back. Otherwise, this guy Whitebeard will drag our Marines to death. Akainu gritted his teeth, although Whitebeard fought with them for dozens of rounds. But neither side used their true abilities to the fullest. The reason is simple. Push City could not withstand the aftermath of the battle between these monster-level warriors. If both sides showed their true strength, I'm afraid the entire propulsion city built on the seabed would be completely destroyed. As marine admirals, they naturally could not allow such a thing to happen. Under this premise, Akainu and Aokiji felt very frustrated. If we were on flat ground, we could completely let go of our hands and feet. Akainu believes he has teamed up with Aokiji. Not to mention defeating Whitebeard quickly, but suppressing him is still no problem at all. How could it be as frustrating as it is now? Are you sure that Push City is gone? Can you take on this responsibility? Aokiji was clearly hesitant. Damn it. If these damn prisoners escape, you won't be able to take responsibility. If you are timid, then all the responsibility will be on me alone. Do you think that if we hold Whitebeard back, Magellan and Shiryu can take down those people together? Akainu's eyes were cold. Aokiji took a deep breath, thought about it again and again, and nodded. Let's do it this way. You're right. If these people get out, the problem will be even more serious. If the higher-ups blame me, the worst that can happen is I'll just resign. After saying that, Aokiji's aura surged again. It is not much inferior to Whitebeard. Akainu saw that Aokiji was willing to use all his strength, and a faint smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Whitebeard, don't think your plan has succeeded. Victory finally belongs to us Marines. Whitebeard heard Akainu's words. There was no reaction. Instead, he simply closed his eyes, as if he was feeling something. Aokiji, Akainu. I'm glad you're finally willing to show your true abilities. But it's still a step too late. My plan has been completely successful. Whitebeard smiled brightly, and burst into laughter. He is already able to use observation hockey. Feel the breath of Ace. It is on the 3rd floor, and is rapidly moving towards the 2nd prison level of the advanced city. Marco and his team's operation was successful. Ace has been rescued. The following battle with Aokiji and Akainu was meaningless. As long as everyone retreats safely, this plan to rescue Ace is perfect and couldn't be more perfect. Oops. What's going on with Magellan? Why are a large number of pirates approaching the 2nd floor? Aokiji's face changed. He also sensed the presence of Ace people through his observation hockey. At this time, a blue flame appeared from far away. Very fast. It's Marco in bird form. He came to Whitebeard's side at a very fast speed. Report it immediately. Dad, Ace is rescued. Prepare to retreat. Many monsters on the level 6 floor were released by someone unknown. I don't know many of them, but just feeling their aura makes me shiver. Whitebeard nodded. Ace is okay, I'm glad you're all okay. Boys, the plan has been successful. Prepare to retreat. He just yelled loudly. The signal for retreat was given. Many members of the Whitebeard pirates heard the signal to retreat. They all began to quickly gather towards the entrance of Advanced City. Akainu frowned. Come when you want, leave when you want. Whose territory do you think this is? After saying that, he was ready to punch the wall of Push City directly. Directly destroy the prison of Impel Down. Let all the prisoners who want to escape be buried in the sea. Whitebeard still had a bright smile on his face. Kasasuke, you are quite naive. You think until my children are safely evacuated. Can you destroy the wall? It's totally a pair, whatever Akainu does. They were all expressions he could handle. It was at this time that Ace and his group finally arrived at the 2nd level of the Impel Down city. I saw Father Whitebeard confronting Akainu Aokiji. Ace also showed an excited smile. Whitebeard nodded. It's good that you're all right, leave now. With me as your backup, you'll all be fine. Ace is not a pretentious person. After nodding, he immediately followed the other crew members of the Whitebeard pirates. Run towards the entrance of Advanced City. Seeing Ace walk away so arrogantly, Akainu immediately flashed away. Exploded towards Ace's direction. The right fist turned directly into lava. It is bound to put Ace to death. But Whitebeard is not a vegetarian either. He directly blocked it with the naginata clenched in his right hand. Akainu's terrifyingly powerful fist. It was intercepted just like that. There was no way to affect Ace's escape. Ace saw that Akainu was going to deal with him, so he ran faster. He knew it clearly. These Marines are getting anxious. Aokiji, do something. Akainu saw Whitebeard trying to stop him, and Ace had already escaped quickly. I couldn't help but yell at Aokiji beside me. Aokiji sighed. Whitebeard, you can't escape unscathed. Give it up. Ice Age. Countless coldness spread in all directions. Some pirates nearby. It turned directly into an ice sculpture. Ice crystals spread very quickly. Just a few blinks of an eye. Almost catching up with Ace. A trifle. Whitebeard snorted coldly. While blocking Akainu's attack with the naginata, he punched directly into the air with his right hand. The space is torn apart instantly. Directly shattered the frozen field released by Aokiji. There are still some attacks that are about to reach Ace. It was also directly blocked by Marco using the undead flame. The pirates who were frozen into ice sculptures also resumed their actions at this time. They all desperately fled towards the entrance. See Ace getting closer and closer to escape. Aokiji and Akainu both had extremely serious expressions on their faces. Revealed a hint of powerlessness. It faintly reveals helplessness and despair. In contrast, the pirate forces. The expressions are all full of joy. It's like a party. It's the pirate forces. I think this one is stable. The plan to break into the prison and advance into the city had been completely successful. Is this impel downtown a place for you pirates to act arrogantly? The entrance to the city of advance. A faint voice came from above. The sound is not loud. Most pirates don't care at all. They all continued to flee towards the entrance. But in the ears of some people, this sound was undoubtedly like a thunderous explosion. Almost at the same time, Whitebeard, Ace, and Marco all looked up. Look in the direction where the sound came from. Who is the owner of this voice? They know it all too well. Ace was imprisoned in Impel Down. This guy can be said to be the culprit. It's Su Chen who is here. Chapter 91 Whitebeard, join forces. Fight against Su Chen together. Damn it, why is it him again? Ace is about to escape Impel Down. I couldn't help but grit my teeth. It's okay, Ace. It shouldn't be a big problem. We know Su Chen's methods well. His offensive prowess is not strong, but mostly he has some weird abilities. We just need to escape. Su Chen can't stop us. On the ground. Whitebeard heard Su Chen's voice. The originally bright and confident smile. It also froze in place in an instant. With Su Chen joining. Although it might be difficult to stop Ace. But this did not prevent Su Chen from implementing Akainu's idea. Directly destroy the entire Impel Down city. Let everyone be buried in the sea. If Su Chen really did this, even now their plan has been more than 95% successful. They will all be burned to ashes. Therefore, we absolutely cannot allow Su Chen to destroy the building structure of the advanced city in such a short period of time. Ta-da, ta-da, ta-da. When Whitebeard was anxious, there were bursts of footsteps coming from behind. From far to near. Ha ha ha. What an arrogant boy. Does he alone want to suppress all of his prisoners who are planning to escape from prison? It's really fun. A newborn calf is not afraid of a tiger. Several people appeared from a distance. It was the Golden Lion Shiki group. Whitebeard saw it. I was originally feeling a little anxious. Disappeared in an instant. Marco's information just now was accurate. This is the one who was imprisoned under the city. It turned out to be these remnants of the old times. Since they wanted to escape from prison, they would not leave Su Chen alone, who might destroy the city. No matter how powerful Su Chen is, can he control a group of top experts? It's totally impossible. Even Akainu and Aokiji. When I saw Golden Lion Burndi and others, their faces all revealed an incomparable solemnity. Aokiji was originally hesitant about whether to destroy the city. He even chose to shoot an ice arrow directly at the wall beside him. These old monsters must not be allowed to escape from Push City. Huh, what do you want? Are you planning to let us, the poor prisoners who have been locked up for so long, die in the sea? The Golden Lion Shiki laughed twice. He no longer had the seastone shackles on him. The floating fruit can be used at will. That ice arrow that Aokiji shot at the wall. In an instant, it floated towards the sky. Completely lost the ability to attack. Damn it. Aokiji's eyes were serious. He shouted directly towards the sky, in the direction of Su Chen. Su Chen, hurry up. Destroy the load-bearing structure of Impel Down. Destroy Impel Down. Su Chen suddenly appeared. It can be said that this is Marine's last hope now. Only the Impel Down city was destroyed. Only then can we stop these guys from escaping. Want to destroy Impel Down? That won't do. But I still have to go out. Burndi, who is known as the World Destroyer, rubbed his body which was a little stiff due to being frozen. He said as he spoke, while tapping the ground lightly with his toes. The Momo fruit ability is activated. He can increase his own speed, or the speed and size of the things he touches. Directly magnify 1 to 100 times. Such a horrible and perverted ability. In an instant, his figure disappeared from the spot. Much faster than a bullet. He came directly to Su Chen. Burndi is very fast. With the blessing of Momo fruit. Burndi amplified 100 times faster. It's almost impossible to capture even when using the hockey of insight and color. He came to Su Chen. He directly punched Su Chen in the direction. Seeing Brandi directly choose to take action to stop Su Chen. A look of excitement flashed in Whitebeard's eyes. Very good. Activating fruit abilities is a process. It is true that Su Chen has a devil fruit with the ability to seal. But as long as he is defeated before he activates his ability, then Su Chen has no effect. Akainu and Aokiji also changed their expressions drastically. If Brandi had stopped Su Chen from successfully destroying the Impel City, then who else can stop these monsters who have been imprisoned for countless years? Escape from Impel Down City. But what I never expected was, faced with Brandi's extremely fast punch, Su Chen had no choice at all to use the ability to seal the devil fruit in hockey. Instead, he smiled directly at Brandi. It's that smile that seems to control every situation that Whitebeard hates the most. Brandi's attack was frozen in midair. His whole body seemed to have been suspended in time. Brandi fell weakly behind her. Then he never got up again. Brandi, known as the Destroyer of Worlds. He lost his combat effectiveness immediately. Yes, this is Su Chen's method. He used Sage Art Echo. Heart stealing. The one closest to Su Chen's location. Ace, Marco and others. The whole person was frozen in place. In their eyes. Full of disbelieving shock. How did Su Chen do it? Why did Brandi collapse like this? Have you lost your ability to fight like that? Although Ace doesn't know this world destroyer who has been sealed for many years. But he could feel it from Brandi. That aura of strength. It made his hair stand on end. But such a strong man fell like this. Even Su Chen didn't do anything. I haven't even said the second sentence yet. It wasn't just Ace and Marco who were shocked. Whitebeard in the distance. The same is true for pupil earthquakes. Others don't know what's going on with Brandi. Whitebeard who has been sailing on the sea for so many years. How could you not know? A great pirate who had a bounty of hundreds of millions on his head. Now he was defeated directly and instantly by Su Chen. What is going on with this kid? No. This kid is full of secrets. His variables are too great. Su Chen absolutely cannot be allowed to ruin his plan. The golden lion on the side suddenly raised his eyebrows and commented on Su Chen Dao. Funny boy. No wonder he talks so arrogantly. It seems that he does have some abilities. Whitebeard snorted coldly. This guy's methods are weird. He can release a strange realm, in which the devil fruit abilities and domineering power of everyone except him will disappear. I heard Whitebeard say this. It's not just the golden lions who are surprised. Everyone who escaped from level 6 was shocked. There is such a weird ability in the world. Look, you can't underestimate this kid. Whitebeard said solemnly. Guys, now we have the same interests, we both want to escape Impel Down City. I owe you a favor, please cooperate with me. Deal with Marine together and escape from Impel Down. Chapter 92 Sign in or block the jailbreak. Su Chen chooses both. Thunder strikes again. Destroy the structure of Impel Down. Su Chen looked ahead. Already fallen to the ground. Brandi completely incapable of fighting. He murmured, repeating what Aokiji had just said to him. Now that you have the extremely destructive Sage Art Echo Thunder, Su Chen has already surpassed the ordinary generals in strength. Of course, it has the ability to directly destroy the city of Advance in a short period of time. But if we do this, we will push all the prisoners into the city. I guess they're all going to die. Su Chen immediately understood. Marine is now completely unable to withstand the attack from the pirate forces. Then letting the prisoners of Impel Down escape from Impel Down. Obviously, it was to directly destroy the city of Advance. Let these prisoners who deserve to die be buried in the sea. For Marine, this is a more acceptable result. With Whitebeard here, it is estimated that before the members of their pirate group evacuate, Aokiji and Akainu are both unable to destroy the walls of Impel Down, right? After all, it was during the war at the top. Whitebeard is almost at the end of his rope. You can still press Akainu and hit. At least before Akainu became Fleet Admiral, his single combat capability was definitely not as good as that of Whitebeard today. Su Chen, there's no time. Quick, push into the city. Seeing Su Chen didn't move, Akainu was anxious and also shouted loudly, urging Su Chen to act quickly. But Su Chen did not listen to Akainu and Aokiji. He can't do that. This time, the system check-in location is level 6 in the Impel Down City. If the Impel Down City is destroyed, you might not be able to sign in. Su Chen didn't want to make any mistakes. So of course he won't destroy Impel Down. But now the problem arises again. Now on the second floor of Impel Down, there are several old monsters from the One Piece movie. Let's just talk about the Golden Lion, the holder of the float fruit. If you run away, something bad will happen. Su Chen is a Marine Admiral. At least that's the plan before returning to the original world. Performing the duties of a marine admiral. This is also for himself. After all, if Golden Lion escapes from prison, the plot of One Piece will be out of Su Chen's control. That was unacceptable to Su Chen. So now, Su Chen not only has to go to level 6, but also has to stop these old monsters from escaping from prison. This is the difficulty facing Su Chen. This is also why, after Su Chen defeated Brandi, no further action was taken. But the reason is that I have been thinking about countermeasures all the time. Right now, in front of us is the exit to escape from Impel Down. Marco and Ace were extremely anxious. As long as he could leave Su Chen, he would be able to return to the Sea of Freedom. But there is only this step. They feel that the difficulty is greater than the entire Impel Down city. A month ago, Su Chen could only try his best to stop Whitebeard's actions. But now, the world destroyer Brandi is no match for Su Chen. Marco, what should we do now? Ace swallowed. The heart that was just excited because of regaining freedom. At this moment, because I met Su Chen. And it's mostly cold. It's tricky. Marco frowned. Although his strength is already strong on the sea. But facing Su Chen, Marco still felt powerless. Having experienced Su Chen's abilities, he knew it clearly. As long as we start a war with Su Chen at this time. Such a high probability. Now they are a group of people. There's no escape at all. If you want to leave Push City, you have to wait for the truly powerful people downstairs to take action. Whitebeard was not far away. The two sharp knives on the Golden Lion's feet made a hole in the ground. If this kid really has the strange abilities that Whitebeard said. Now we have to do something. Be careful not to let this guy really listen to Akainu and drag us down with him. Everybody. Use whatever abilities you have. There was a rare flash of solemnity in everyone's eyes. After all, they are all strong. Can feel it from Su Chen. That vague sense of danger. Su Chen, what are you waiting for? Hurry up and do it. We will help you delay as much time as possible. Aokiji saw that Su Chen had no intention of taking any action. My whole scalp is tingling. No action yet. At this moment, he really felt that Su Chen was his ancestor. Could it be that Su Chen didn't know that these guys had run away? What kind of impact will it have on the entire world? If Aokiji didn't know Su Chen's past, he would have thought that Su Chen was an undercover agent hidden in Marine. Dark Hound. Next to Aokiji. Akainu's temperature rose rapidly. The magma has already condensed on his right fist. It turned out to be Akainu's ultimate move. In the original One Piece manga, Akainu used this move to smash half of Whitebeard's face. You can see its terrifying power. What are you talking about? Aokiji. Just let Su Chen do it. If he doesn't want to destroy Push City, he has any other ideas. I will trust him and cooperate with him. Aokiji took a deep breath. On the surrounding ground, frost also began to appear. You were right. Just trust that kid. The two of them finished talking. It was directed towards everyone present. Launch the most violent attack. Whitebeard snorted coldly. He ignored Akainu and Aokiji's attacks. Instead, he used the tremor fruit and punched towards Su Chen. He had already seen Ace and others being stopped by Su Chen. He is doing this now to create a way for Ace and the others to escape. The terrifying shock wave was rapidly approaching Su Chen. The pirates around Su Chen all changed their expressions drastically. He dodged in a panic. And facing Su Chen, who was at the center of the shock wave. His expression was extremely calm. He muttered to himself. 3 seconds. That's enough. In just a moment. Su Chen had already asked the system in his mind. Arriving at the check-in location. What is the minimum time required to sign in? The answer is 3 seconds. After understanding the information you need. Su Chen finally took action. He raised his right hand slightly. In an instant, a terrifying dark cloud gathers above Impel Down. All this happened in just half a second. Amidst the rolling dark clouds. Condensed into a terrifying thunder. Almost in the blink of an eye. That terrifying thunder fell down. It directly shattered the oncoming shock wave like a rotten tree. Whitebeard's attack was easily resolved. This is not the end yet. Terrifying thunder and lightning. It is 5 meters thick. If I had to make a metaphor, it would be a terrifying semi-trailer dump truck. It hit the ground hard. In an instant, an earthquake larger than that caused by the tremor fruit. The sound was even more powerful, and it appeared throughout the entire city. Everyone present changed their expressions. It was the thunder performed by Su Chen. Take action. Chapter 93 T-Pig is given away for free, Momoshiki can't stop Ace. Can Su Chen's awakening inspire turn the tables? Thunder hit the ground. The terrifying gale made everyone present squint their eyes. Even those who were weak were stunned by the terrifying power of thunder. Whitebeard stuck his naginata directly into the ground. His hands were also in front of him. His expression changed from confidence at the beginning, to solemnity later, and finally to shock now. Everything. It's all because of Su Chen. What a terrifying power of thunder. I'm afraid he's not inferior to Enel from Sky Island. What's going on with this kid? Why is he using the power of thunder? Brandi was defeated just now. It's obvious that guy did something. In this way, this kid now has 4 unique abilities. After Whitebeard analyzed Su Chen, shocked made the statement. The golden lion Shiki standing next to him also blocked his body with his hands. Very surprised. What a terrifying power. If he gets hit head on, even Kaido would be hurt. No wonder Whitebeard wants to join forces with us to deal with this kid. It's really tricky. I'm afraid this kid is as good as 2 marine admirals. Akainu and Aokiji also retreated rapidly. The punch they threw just now made the pirates afraid and retreated far away. Then Su Chen took action. The 2 of them looked at the horrific thunder caused by Su Chen. There was a dull look on his face. What's going on? This kid has a new ability. Another, Fruit Awakening. Akainu said doubtfully. Aokiji's mouth twitched. It took a while to recover. You should believe that I am rocks instead of believing that the boy's ability is the awakening of the fruit. But generally speaking, with Su Chen here, the pressure on both of us should be much less. Maybe we can stop Whitebeard's plan without destroying Impel Down. Push forward the city entrance. Chaton and Momoshiki finally arrived at the entrance of Impel Down. As soon as it comes up, they felt the terrifying thunder released by Su Chen. In an instant, Lieutenant General Chaton sat down on the ground. A flash of fear flashed in his eyes. FK, again. Of course he understood what this thunder was about. Back in the underground world of Dressrosa, he was almost killed by the aftermath of the terrifying thunder released by Su Chen. Chaton feels like he has a psychological shadow. Seeing this terrifying thunder, my legs can't stop shaking. What a useless thing. Momoshiki glanced at Chaton who was sitting on the ground. Snorted coldly. This little scene scared you so much. If those pirates saw it, it would be a disgrace to us Marines. Otherwise, wait until we get back to Marine headquarters. Just hand in your resignation to Fleet Admiral. After Momoshiki said this, the world abandoned Chitonkaji. Straight into the Impel Down city. As soon as you enter the city of Advance, the destructive will of thunder contained in the air. It becomes more intense. Momoshiki Gion couldn't control herself and put her hands in front of her face. She subconsciously looked around. But there was no sign of Su Chen. What's going on? It was obvious that Su Chen was just on the same boat as them. Why did you lose track? It should be nearby. Momoshiki was puzzled. But she finally looked down at the ground. Standing there were Whitebeard and many powerful men including Akainu Aokiji. The most central. It is a huge pit nearly 10 meters in diameter. The huge beam of lightning has disappeared. But in the air was already filled with sparks. If you get a little closer, there will be a burst of intense lightning. What a terrifying thunder. Momoshiki commented truthfully. If this thunder fell on her, not to mention resistance, I guess he didn't even realize it. The whole person was turned into powder by the thunder. Momoshiki sighed in her heart. Compared to the previous time in Dressrosa. Now Su Chen released the thunder. Obviously he didn't use his full strength. At most, only 1/3 of it is used. If you really release it with all your strength, I'm afraid that the bottom of this advanced city will be penetrated by Su Chen's thunder. What Momoshiki Gion didn't know was, back in Dressrosa, Su Chen didn't use thunder with all his strength. If it were to exert its full strength, I'm afraid the entire underground of Dressrosa would be destroyed. Su Chen will pierce a big hole in them. The T-pig behind. After being humiliated by Momoshiki, the fear in my heart was immediately overcome. He quickly followed Momoshiki's steps. Arrived inside the Impel Down city. As soon as he came in, just happened to be Su Chen's figure. From the bottom of the large hole on the second level. Ran out. Appeared in the center area of everyone. It is not far from Momoshiki T-Pig. Ace Marco and everyone else. Now he has come to his senses. I saw Su Chen was no longer at the entrance. There was a flash of excitement in Marco's eyes. Very good. It's the Marine Vice Admiral from before. That can be dealt with. As long as it's not Su Chen. Or maybe Admiral Marine. Marco believes that everyone can find a way out. Ace, get ready to rush out with me. Ace nodded. The flame fruit is activated, and the whole body is covered in flames. The breath is moving. Momoshiki and Chaton immediately noticed something not far away. There was a large group of people led by Marco. Momoshiki Gion looked solemn. She has fought with Marco before. Be aware of the other party's strength. The other side now has the advantage in numbers. It may not be easy to stop them from leaving Push City. Momoshiki was having a dilemma. The T-Pig on the side was already ready to stand alone against 10,000 enemies. His hands turned black immediately. Marco hasn't taken any action yet. Chatten rushed over directly. Chatten, wait. Your injuries haven't healed yet, you are only at the level of lieutenant general at best. You can't deal with those guys. Just as Momoshiki drew out the kinpira from her waist, she saw Chatten rushing forward with a fearless look. Her expression suddenly changed. The battle itself is difficult enough, and now the teammates are going straight up to give up. How do you play this? Not surprising. Just 30 rounds. Chatten Kaji was subdued by Marco and Ace. Marco's entire body was covered in blue flames, exuding a strong aura. Although the aura emanating from Momoshiki Gion is equally strong. But in the end they were outnumbered and there was no Chatten to share the pressure. With Marco leading the way, it was almost a pipe dream to stop everyone. Miss Lieutenant General, please make way. You alone can't stop so many of us. Marco said calmly. It was clearly a winning statement. Momoshiki gritted her teeth and subconsciously looked down. In the direction of Su Chen. That is, at the same time. In Su Chen's mind, the system voice sounded. Ding ding ding. Sign in completed. Congratulations host for winning Sage Art. Open black lens bracket excitation close black lens bracket. Chapter 94 Su Chen is attacked from all sides. Akainu Aokiji is in despair. Momoshiki is about to die. Kid, what did you just do? Whitebeard frowned. Looking at Su Chen in front of him. Perception captured through observation hockey. Whitebeard noticed it clearly. The big hole that Su Chen had just created with the help of thunder. Go deep into the interior of the city. As for what Su Chen did, Whitebeard didn't know. Su Chen ignored Whitebeard. Instead, he looked calmly at the palm of his hand. The effect of stimulation. It's a bit tasteless. Fortunately, the system has finally been upgraded. With the next sign in, there will be endless rewards. At least it's a trip without a white hits card. But the next check-in location is actually Wano country. Tisk, it's a bit far. Su Chen said to himself. After successful sign-in, along with stimulation, Sage Art was injected into Su Chen's body. Su Chen finally understood the impact of Sage Art this time. Open black lens bracket inspire close black lens bracket. The effect of Sage Art is very simple. This is different from the worldview of 10 Days End, where it is easier to get an echo effect. The stimulation that Su Chen obtained can greatly stimulate the potential of his body. If you use it on yourself. This is the ability to control some of the future that still exists in potential. Inspire directly. So Su Chen felt that Sage Art was a bit useless. But soon, Su Chen fully understood the full usage of this trigger, Sage Art. He immediately changed his mind about Sage Art. This is Sage Art. If it is released to others, that's a great effect. Directly increase your strength by percentage. FK, the 7 treasure glazed tower. Su Chen couldn't help but complain inwardly. This is a noble percentage increase. For the top powerful people in the One Piece world. If you increase their percentage, the effect will be exaggerated to the point of explosion. It may be that Akainu and Aokiji would need to fight for 10 days and 10 nights before the winner could be determined. But if Su Chen's Sage Art is used to increase the percentage, then half an hour at most. Both sides can determine the winner. Even if Su Chen is willing, he can enhance Aokiji. Then the future Marine Admiral will be Aokiji, not Akainu. The percentage increase of top powerhouses is so exaggerated. Just when Su Chen was thinking, he suddenly discovered. His body began to float uncontrollably. The distance between me and the ground beneath my feet is getting farther and farther. Su Chen raised his eyebrows slightly. I immediately understood what happened. Shiki the golden lion attacked himself. It is the ability of the floating fruit. At the same time, Whitebeard not far away. Seeing that Su Chen did not respond for a long time. The cloud in his hand also made a rotation. It was heading straight towards Su Chen. This seems to be a signal. Almost all level 6 prisoners attacked Su Chen at the same time. Certainly. Except one person. This man is tall and thin. Her white hair was braided into 2 braids that hung on her shoulders, and she was wearing a plum red shirt and blood red trousers. In his hand he held a slender bat-handled umbrella. It was the Red Earl. Him at this moment. He was looking at Su Chen in front of him with great interest. Interesting. All these years. This is the first time I've seen such a wicked little devil. She's only in her 20s, but she actually feels a bit like a threat to me. No wonder the proud Whitebeard would bow his head and ask us for help. If this monster grows up, I'm afraid he will be no less powerful than rocks. The Red Earl smiled. This is how Su Chen was evaluated. Aside, Aokiji and Akainu watched Su Chen being suspended in the air. They are all tearful. Something bad has happened. Why didn't Su Chen quickly release the power of his fruit to seal the power of the Golden Lion's floating fruit? Is there no way to release it? In this case, the body is controlled by the float fruit. The whole body is suspended in the air. He looks like a living target. What if everyone focused on this? He was severely injured almost immediately and lost his ability to fight. Even think a little pessimistically. The moment Su Chen is attacked and focused on, his health bar will be emptied. Died immediately. Such a monstrous genius has just appeared in Marine. But now he is facing the fate of being killed in the city. Akainu and Aokiji witnessed all this. How can I not despair? On the high platform. The entrance to the city of Impel Down. Momoshiki Gion holding a precious sword Kanpira. Once again, we faced off against Marco Ace. The terrifying flashes of swords and sabers. Cutting around like crazy. Ace's entire body was cut by flames, leaving numerous wounds. Marco took more hits. There was even a lot of bright red blood. However, with the power of the phoenix fruit, the wound healed quickly. It's obvious. Momoshiki Gion's attack comes with armament haki. It directly neutralized the devil fruit abilities of the two people. A hint of surprise flashed in the eyes of Ace and Marco at the same time. They didn't expect it. Momoshiki Gion was actually in a situation of exchanging injuries for injuries. Delaying them for so long. No matter what, I won't let you pass. Momoshiki Gion's chest heaved violently. There were hundreds of wounds of varying sizes all over his body. Especially the wound on the slender waist. He couldn't see clearly because of his clothes, but a large amount of blood was constantly pouring out. It was obviously a serious wound, and Momoshiki was in a very bad condition. Her fair face became even paler due to excessive blood loss. It looks particularly pitiful. But the expression on his face was so resolute. This is contrary to the determination shown by Momoshiki Gion. It's her physical strength. Facing the attack from two people, she was rapidly falling. Now it seems that even speaking is a bit difficult. As Whitebeard's ship doctor, I can tell you clearly. With your current physical condition, continue to fight with us. If you don't bandage and stop the bleeding, you will definitely die. I can give you a chance to live, just get out of our way. Or maybe you were born with a strong servile nature and you like being a dog for the celestial dragons so much. Marco frowned slightly, and blue flames rose from his body. A final ultimatum was issued to Momoshiki Gion. As long as she doesn't make way for everyone. Then comes the next battle. He is about to kill me. Momoshiki Gion held his shoulders and gasped heavily. She felt like she couldn't hold the Jinpi Luo tightly anymore. He said that he was facing Ace and Marco. But in fact, there are dozens or even hundreds of people attacking behind them. If you relax even a little, these guys will shoot you from behind and attack you. This put Momoshiki in a complete disadvantage. Who wants to be a dog of the celestial dragons? Don't you know what will happen to the civilians of the entire world if those vicious guys on level 6 escape? I admit that there are many pirates who don't kill innocent people. They are more like adventurers who call themselves pirates. But apart from them, most of the pirates are demons who kill without blinking an eye and plunder the wealth of ordinary people. That's why first joined Marine. Let's fight. Even if I die, I won't let you pass. Momoshiki Gion's eyes were solemn. Slowly stood up straight. Excessive blood loss made Momoshiki feel dizzy at the moment. Even controlling the domineering aura to cover the body for defense was a bit difficult. She knew that Marco was probably right. I really can't hold on any longer. Marco shook his head helplessly. All right. Since you are determined to die, I don't mind taking your life. We have wasted enough time. If we don't leave Impel Down now, I'm afraid something might happen. After he finished speaking, a sharp cry suddenly came from behind him. His aura surged. It is to deliver the final blow to Momoshiki Gion. Marco turned into a stream of light and rushed directly towards her. Seeing this, Ace shook his head helplessly. He knows. Given Momoshiki Gion's current situation, it can't be sustained no matter what. There is only one consequence of a head-on hit. That is death. Marco's attack is magnified in Momoshiki's eyes. Momoshiki also bit the tip of her tongue, forcing herself to cheer up. She held the Kumbarata in her hand and used the last bit of her strength. Poured into the hands. Even if it is a fatal attack, she will fight to the last moment. Just at this moment, behind Momoshiki Gion, suddenly, a magnificent voice rang out. The sound is so loud. Instantly, the sound resounded throughout the entire city. I heard the echo of inspiration. The next moment, Momoshiki was already weak. The terrifying aura burst out from his whole body once again.